I gotta get your cam up. Cam, of course, doesn't fucking want to work because it is a fucking piece of shit. Oh, that's interesting. There we go. Boom. And we're live. All right, cool. There we are. All right. Whatever, man. Hey, second stream. Not bad.
Yeah.
I can't tell if anybody's here. Yeah, we have one viewer at least. And
Really?
as far as I can tell, like check it out. If I switch to this one, are you watching a stream on your end?
I am, but I don't have my glasses on, so
No,
I
that's
might
fine.
as well be streaming on
It's
there.
it's
Oh,
about a
but yeah, I
seven
can.
second delay. So
Yeah, I do see that there's a delay, but
so
that's good.
now if I were to switch to this screen, which it's about to do, you can
Oh,
see it.
nice.
Yeah, you see it? That's like
Yeah.
chat in case somebody's there, but that's through Restream. So I'm not sure. It's supposed to aggregate from all the platforms and people putting chats. I felt bad. My cousin's kid last week was chatting with us and we didn't even see it. Cause like, yeah, cause
Yeah, I
yeah,
was trying to learn all that stuff. I watched a couple of videos and then, I had to take a nap because I'm
yeah,
100 years old. So,
yeah. I felt bad, but hey, man, I hopefully like maybe some people can share our shit and you know, we'll be able to I don't know
yeah,
get
please,
some fucking viewers
please.
because like right now
I just want to be famous.
I'm like trying to lock everything down. Okay, it looks good. All these scenes look better. I mean, the stream looks a lot better than last week. That's really all I care
Yeah,
about.
I mean, well, I have my Canon camera up and running, and
Yeah,
it's much better with the camera.
yeah,
And the lighting is the only thing I need to fix. But once I get my second light, I could have a bit more of a mood and not look like some type of prison photo.
yeah, definitely. Okay, cool. So the chat is coming from Facebook for whatever reason, and fucking
Really?
and YouTube. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
People people still use Facebook who are under the age of 50.
I don't fucking know, man. I haven't.
I don't think so either.
I go on Facebook Marketplace to like look for puppies and shit, but like I don't do anything else. Like I literally don't use it.
I have like emails telling me that I have notifications on my Facebook account,
Yeah,
and they're up to like 156. But I just don't want to go on Facebook because I hate social media.
yeah, same
I
here.
tweet out. I had to send out a tweet because I'm even though I hate social media, you have to do it. You have to use it, and the reality is everybody else is using it, so you have to get into it. So like, I just sit there and I'll try to browse through tweets so I can, I guess, get in the know and see what's going on. And after
Right.
like 2 minutes, I'm already like I'm bored. I'm like I don't want to do this anymore. But
Yo, can you
people love it.
look how fucking big these headphone cans are? By the way, look at these fucking
Jesus,
cans. Can you see
look
these?
like Princess Leia.
I know.
Yeah, I can.
Like these are fucking $30 headphones that I modified, and I refuse to
Yeah.
get rid of them because like they're fucking just awesome.
Yeah,
But
and then for the podcast anyway, the headphones are just to listen to my voice, so it's not like you need
yeah,
anything.
you're coming through the
Yeah,
monitor speaker right now, so I don't really need to do that. But if I really, really needed to, if it was loud in here for whatever reason, then yeah, it would definitely do it.
which microphone did you say you had
I have
for your mic?
The Shure SM7B.
It went on sale today on Amazon for $219.
Fuck, that's a good deal. I bought it.
Yeah, but
I think it was $400 when I bought it.
yeah, it's usually between 400 and 450. The only caveat is that you have to have an Amazon business account, but
Oh,
dude, $219. I saw it, it was so tempted, but I really should wait. If anything, the first thing I should get is a higher end PC, like a better laptop, so I can actually work out of this thing.
oh yeah.
But a microphone's important.
Well, I mean,
I'd love to get a
your microphone
room to
sounds
work
fine.
out of.
The difference between
Does it?
like a really like I used to use the Blue Yeti forever. Like the Blue Yeti was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That
Well,
got me by for a
everybody
while,
always
but
hypes.
I don't use USB. Like I use XLR, so like everything's XLR, which
Yeah.
means it's expensive. That's
But you know what? The gold standard is the Shure, the M7B, and the
I
And
have
the
this one
MX7,
too.
I forget the two. There's two models. There's a USB model, and then the one that you have, which is the what's it called? XLR, XSR,
Well, yeah, I have the SM7B, which is an XLR microphone. This one's also
XLR.
XLR. This little baby one here. I don't know if you could see it, but this is the SM57. But this is more of a dynamic mic that's used for like instrument recording. Like if I was to use
Oh,
like
okay.
my But if you're doing like
I do have like
podcasting
a
and
seven.
shit, like I would definitely. Shure is amazing. The Rode makes a really good podcasting mic too.
Yeah, but I think Shure is the gold standard
It
because
is,
I've
yeah,
watched
for
a
sure.
ton of like setups and everyone says if you can get the Shure, that's the one for podcasting, for streaming, anything like that. It's the gold standard.
I agree.
One day I'll get it. I
And
mean,
let's
I'm
see.
using a folding table as my table. The
I
laptop's here, the
I
cords in the
have
back.
what the fuck? Why does that say
A
restream?
fucking fire hazard here.
There we go. Yeah, dude. Honestly, this right here, my keyboard is on like this fucking folding table that we had originally planned to put our 3D printer on, but like we didn't realize how much space a 3D printer needs, and like
Oh,
you
really?
need a massive amount of room. Like you need a full desk.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty
I've seen
crazy.
them. I've seen different types, but I've seen the rectangular.
Yep.
I guess it's an Xbox Series X shape
Hmm.
type of. Obviously bigger, but I've seen those.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. The because it's resin, right? So like it uses resin to like cure whatever it is, but you need to like wash it.
I heard
So
about that.
yeah, so
That's
like we
funny
had to
that you
get like a
mentioned that.
wash station. So like it was fucking crazy. So it takes up a lot of room.
I heard that they could catch fire or something like that. Or am
Yeah,
I
it
wrong
could.
on that?
I mean, I guess it could. Yeah, for sure.
Or maybe I'm thinking of something else. Maybe I'm thinking of laser engraving. I don't know, man. I did. I do too much. Thinking of something. My brain is mush. So, by the way, I did get some news. I didn't pick too much. I picked like three types of news, and then we could just talk about the writer's strike. Although I really don't know what else to say except, I mean, I support the writers, but I did want to say this, like, you know, uh, studios are getting ready to use AI to
Yeah, that's
basically write the
why
scripts.
I put Hollywood on Fire edition.
Yeah, well, I was reading today, and basically the WGA did put in a clause where they wanted the writers to be able to use AI to to make draft scripts,
Right.
but they put a clause in there that said the studios are not allowed to use AI for final scripts. And the studio was like, nope,
Oh
we're not
man.
doing that, which means they're wrapping up. And to be honest, they should do this, but at the same time, it's a double-edged sword because I think this is going to ramp up the studios trying to use AI.
Yeah, for
And
sure. I agree with that.
and but it's inevitable. That's the reality. So they might as well try and get a raise because they're going to do it anyway. I think this will speed it up a little bit, but in the end,
I mean, dude,
why wouldn't they?
it was a
Why wouldn't
matter
they?
of time, dog. Like, I mean, it was like everybody's using AI and ChatGPT and OpenAI at work. It's a language model, so inevitably it was going to affect writers more than anything else. But like the idea that like I mean, I don't blame them for being pissed off. You know what I mean? Like we are like, you know
Yeah,
what's so funny? It's like I keep thinking back to that South Park episode with the fucking Osimo 9000 when he's
yeah.
like, "I am Osimo 9000," right? Like that's literally what we're dealing with now. It's like you could just
Yeah.
be like, "Hey, Chat GPT, write me a script when Adam Sandler gets stranded on an island and falls in love with a coconut," and it would just be like,
Yeah.
"Did."
Yeah, but it'll be actually good, and that's the scary part of
Yeah.
AI.
Well, dude,
Like,
you
I mean,
mentioned
it'll
it the
have
other
some
day that
inconsistencies.
you mentioned a South Park episode, ChatGPT episode,
Yeah,
and I finally got
I
around
haven't
to
seen it.
seeing it. And you had said like, "Hey, man, like I'm pretty sure he used ChatGPT to write this." And we couldn't confirm. Confirmed in the credits, it literally says it was written by Trey Parker and
It does say
ChatGPT.
that,
Yeah.
but I couldn't tell if that was like being
No,
farcical,
no,
like
he
making it up,
definitely used
or
it as a tool.
yeah,
It's not gonna do like
probably,
it just like anything else. It's not gonna do great
yeah,
its first pass, but like
yeah.
it's
But it's
inevitable, man.
unrestricted. It's unrestricted, and movie studios. Look, I put myself in a movie studio executive shoes. You can. pay these writers. And by the way, they're like the what they're asking for amounts to about like I saw the estimates. It was around something around the amount of like 430 million if you got all the writers together, right? That would be like their salaries. But then it showed the comparisons of what these companies made, and they
Right.
made between 20 and 30 billion dollars.
Yeah,
So they just want their fair share, and they should get it now because
I agree.
once AI becomes the standard, why would they give them any money
I know.
once AI can do everything?
I know.
So
And
I
like
guess
I
they
kind
might
of
as well.
think back too, it's like I can't help but think like, coming from the games industry, it's like everybody wants to move production and speed up production. So they're always looking for means to do that, right? But producers, they never account for that. So that's why crunch always happens. So you have like studios that are going through crunch for months, even years at a time, because people quarterly earnings and et cetera, where the board needs to make money and they're looking to push this out no matter what. So everybody goes in the crunch, right? I see this instance where now writers are going to be phased out by AI as a means for Warner Brothers and all the big studios to kind of like ramp up production, man. Think about how fast it's
Yeah,
going to be to
yeah.
like say, hey, chat, write this fucking script for me. And then I'll go back and I'll edit that script. It's like it's giving you like a rough draft in minutes. You know what I mean?
Well,
And
I mean,
it's crazy.
Google it later, but I've seen movies created with AI. Like,
Yeah,
I
dude, you
mean,
see the pizza
full
commercial,
movie.
dude?
They're insane,
The pizza
insane,
commercial, man. The pizza commercial was
insane.
fucking crazy. And then I just saw another one. It was a beer commercial. And dude, it was like,
It's
it was fucked up. I mean, you
can't
could
put
totally
numbers
tell
on
it was messed up. But like,
it.
dude,
Right?
in another
But it's
couple
so
years,
crazy.
we are fucked.
Another couple of years, another couple of months, probably, because like it's crazy. But I'll say this, like, yeah, I was thinking about it today, and sometimes it's so hard to defend the writers because there are good writers. There's a lot of good writers, but then there's a
Yeah,
lot of bad writers, and sometimes you just think to yourself, like, God damn it, guys! Like, if you get this raise, you guys better get your shit together when it comes to writing.
I
But
agree. I don't know, man. You know how I feel about that. And it's like,
yeah,
I just feel like if they're going to protect, if that industry is so protected where they're going to say, okay, we won't use AI for this, where does it end? Because like then everybody's job needs to be protected because everybody's jobs and livelihoods are in jeopardy in some
oh yeah, mine
fashion from
is.
AI. Yeah.
My day job is, and
Oh
in
yeah,
two
dude.
years, I guarantee that
I
my day
sweat it
job
every
is
single
gone.
day, dude. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
okay. I work in cyber now, but like it's there's certain areas of cyber that are going to be automated, right? So like,
it's gonna happen.
yeah,
It's unrestricted right now. Congress doesn't know what the hell to do with it, how to regulate it.
I agree.
So it's the Wild West right now.
Yeah.
And again, I put myself in the position of these corporate CEOs, as slimy as it is, and all I think is, hey, it's out there, it's free.
Yeah.
The common man is using it. Let's use it.
Yeah, I agree with that. And
Yeah,
it's a good tool. I
it
don't
is.
know exactly. I mean, look, can you
Right.
write a worse script than fucking Suicide Squad? I guarantee you that
I
I
think
don't.
it'll fix it up.
David
Yeah.
Ayer is probably gonna fucking see this stream if he ever sees it. All fucking three people watching us right now, and David Ayer is gonna fucking strike me down. But Suicide Squad
You know what?
sucked. That's just the first example of a bad script that came up in my mind. I mean,
No, you know what? I'm going to defend you on this and say this. I can't think of anything in my head that he can change in the movie significantly
yeah,
where it would actually make the movie good
I agree.
because the villain of the movie itself is a core problem. It's a
Yeah,
CGI splooge fest.
yeah.
So unless he did have that villain, if he had the Joker as a villain, interesting. I
Yeah,
still think that the Joker was not aligned with what we expect of the Joker, but um I don't know, like
I heard he
can
was
you
cut out of the
picture
movie.
I guess so, but what like think,
There was a lot
as
of
the movie
reshoots, man. It was like tonally that movie was all over the place.
I guess we'll never know because his cut will never be released. From what I see from the
It's
studios,
probably
it
for the
seems
best.
like they will never release it.
It's probably
But
for the
I'd love
best.
to see it to see, because he's a bit not an egomaniac, but sometimes he talks a lot of shit. I think he
Who, David
mentioned the
Ayer?
other day that I think so. I think the other day he mentioned how like people who watch movies on phones are not really watching movies. which, you know, some movies, sure, but
I mean, if
what's
I'm in a
wrong with
fucking
watching like a
airport,
comedy on, yeah, what's wrong with watching a comedy movie on a phone? I mean, it's,
I
you
mean, if I'm
know,
in an airport, what's the fucking problem? I don't care.
or an indie movie, you know, that doesn't have, I don't know.
I
It,
I just I
it
don't know,
seems a
man.
bit
I look at it and I
egomaniac.
say, if it can enhance things, sure. But if it's taking like they trigger gerbs, then we're in trouble, and it's gonna happen. I mean, it's inevitable.
It is. But I'll also say this because I kind of trash writers and said sometimes it's hard to defend them,
Yeah.
but most of the time, you know, they do write something good and then the studio steps in and changes it. So to be fair to them, studios would jump in and say like, nope, we need this, we need A or B or C. Like you have to put it in the script. Even if the writers are like, it doesn't make sense, they just tell them like, you need to do that.
There's I guess like Vince Gilligan. You have Aaron Sorkin. You have like these legendary writers
Yeah.
that like have been around for a while. And I'll even, you know what? It's like I used to be a huge Aaron Sorkin fan because like I like Newsroom and I like The West Wing, right? But I watched both of them so much that I actually like can tell copy pasted dialogue
It
from one
is,
show
yeah.
to another, and it's really bad. So Aaron Sorkin probably isn't the top of my list anymore, but Vince Gilligan's untouchable, man.
Yeah, he is.
He's
He's so
he's
good.
amazing, and that's what I mean. It's like, but that's different. It's like I wouldn't put him in the same boat as all those assholes around a writer's table who's, you know what I mean, like writing by committee on some of these shitty like comic book movies and shit. Like it's
Yeah, I
weird.
mean,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm curious to see how Secret Invasion will come out because that's a
yeah.
series. That's not going to be a movie. And from what I read today, it's 6 1 hour episodes, so it's short. 6 episodes, 1 hour apiece.
Wait a minute, they're
Samuel L.
doing
Jackson
Secret Invasion as a fucking series now.
as a Disney Plus series.
Oh man, dude, I didn't know that.
I know.
Holy shit.
It's scary because you know, I know you don't like any of the Disney Plus
Yeah.
series, but I'll tell you that for me, I
Well, there's
like
a couple.
Loki.
I think Andor actually is one that I would watch. Kenobi, not so
Oh,
much.
I
We'll
mean
get into that
Marvel
after,
wise.
but yeah.
Yeah. I mean Marvel wise.
Oh
I
yeah,
know
no,
that
no.
I
Mm,
don't think there's any that you like. But I liked
no.
WandaVision, I like Loki. I thought Falcon and the Winter Soldier was okay, but it did get a little political heavy where it kind of hit you on the head with a hammer.
Yeah.
And I understand because it is a black Captain America, but at some point you got to move forward to something else because you can't just keep harping on that. I
Yeah.
get it. It's
Yeah.
always going to be like that no matter what, but you got to
I
move
agree.
on to something else. But I did enjoy some of it. And then Moon Knight, I did not like Moon Knight. What's another one that's a Marvel show that She-Hulk. Oh my god, yeah, that did not pan out well. Go ahead. Tell us your views on She-Hulk. Tell me what you think of
Do we
She-Hulk.
need to talk about that?
You just don't want to explode, do you?
Now I know that there's somebody that's watching us right now that's a big Marvel fan. Um, the person who's in the chat saying Anthony loves the Batman, um, clearly knows. I saw the Batman with this individual, the movie The Batman, and I didn't really care for the movie, and he was super offended about it. But anyway, She Hulk. I'm I'm gonna try to be
I-
nice. Okay, I get it.
It
Okay,
was woke.
I
You just
understand the
say it. Just
message.
say that it hit you over the head
Yeah,
with feminism
yeah,
with a sledgehammer.
a
Oh,
lot,
with She-Hulk hands.
a lot.
Yeah,
And
I get it.
to be fair about it, like I want to draw a contrast to something that kind of does the same thing but doesn't beat you over the head and is a little bit smarter. Like, you know, like I'll say even the Mario movie was a lot smarter. We talked about that too.
Yeah,
Like Princess Peach.
yeah.
Yeah, she was better
Strong
in
woman.
Mario in every way, but like she was true to her character and she didn't emasculate Mario in any way.
Yeah, she didn't
Like,
belittle him.
yeah,
Full disclosure, I didn't watch the film, but I've
right.
watched enough
No, but
previews where
she
I
didn't do
understand
that.
that.
And to be fair, like, you know, and with She-Hulk, it's so like, yes, I get it, feminism and yes, girl power and all that stuff. I totally get it. That stuff has been around forever. And to think that like women are underrepresented is silly because some of like the best action heroes, some of the best adventure heroes, they're all women, right? Like
I
now,
think,
is it as
yeah,
much as men? No, right? I'm not
no,
going to sit
no.
here and be like, oh, fucking, come on, there's just as many women protagonists as men. No, there's not. But some of the best ones are women. So
Yeah,
like, you know, like Sigourney Weaver, man. Like,
yeah,
come on.
and let me just say this. I'll even go further. Well, let me say a couple of points first. Number one, a lot of women's action movies fail because the movie itself sucks.
Yeah,
And you need to look at it in the perspective that there are a lot of male action movies that suck, like a lot.
a
So
lot.
you can't look at it as saying like, "Oh, you think the movie sucks because it's a woman's movie."
Right.
No, a bad movie is a bad movie. A perfect example of that is the spy movie. I believe it was called the 355. Um,
I didn't see it.
and it just had nothing to it. It was a bland movie. It was like the offshoot Bourne movie where it was just bland. There's action pieces and that's about it. And I think the problem is that well, look, I'm not a female and I get it. I still think there is a double standard sometimes, but
Yeah.
also like you can't get mad when a movie is bad and immediately say that it's because it's a female-led movie, because it gets people to resent you like no matter what. Then like it changes the attitude from like, oh, I understand, to like, you're being a bitch.
I mean,
and
dude, it's
and that's the
literally
problem.
like, I don't know, like maybe make it good, right?
Yes,
That's
and
just
there's
make it
plenty.
good, right? It has
So
nothing to do
everybody
about whether or not it's a woman or not. Like, it has to do whether or not
everybody
it's good. She-Hulk sucks because it's a piece of shit. Like, She-Hulk doesn't suck because it's a woman. Like, they just,
no,
it was very on your, it just smashed over the head all the, it just wasn't smart at all.
before this conversation where we would immediately say like, oh, you hate women because you hate the movie,
Right.
let's go back to a woman-led movie that wasn't really good, and that's the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movies.
Oh yeah.
And they were
Yeah.
just okay, but they weren't very good. But you never saw that conversation where people were like, oh, you hate it because it's a woman's movie. No, you just, it was just wasn't a good movie. It wasn't horrible by any standards, but
I
I
mean,
mean, would you watch the Tomb Raider movies again today?
I think I might. They weren't bad movies in my opinion. I
But they
compare
were
them.
just mediocre. As mediocre
Yeah.
as the
Resident Evil
um
movies or the Underworld movies.
I would say as mediocre as the first Resident Evil movie, because I want
Damn,
to be
dude, that
fair.
that's
It's
fucked
not
up.
that bad.
That's
I think the first Resident Evil
I
movie
like
is
that
really
first
good.
Resident Evil movie.
And and I kind of like the second one because I thought that the way Nemesis looked was awesome, but it was a mess of a movie. It was a mess.
When I was in high school and I worked at Blockbuster Video, and whenever an asshole customer would like come in or whatever and just kind of piss me off, or if I didn't like them, I would always, because they would always ask you like, oh, what movies do you recommend, right? Because like before the age of the internet where you could just look this shit up,
Hmm.
so they were
Word
like,
of mouth.
I would
That was the way to
always
go.
go to House of the Dead. I would always be
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, rent House of the Dead. And like anytime they would come back, they'd be like, yo, man, that movie sucked. And like they would never fucking ask me again. So it was
Of
like my
course,
way of
it
like
was the
taking care to
worst
make sure
movie
that
ever.
nobody would ask me. But it was also like, hey man, like that movie's a pile of shit. And it really is, dude.
Remember that game? It had bits of the game
Yeah, remember
in
that?
the movie
Overlaid on
where
top of it, man.
I'm thinking about it in my head. It's ready to explode thinking about it.
It was bad.
Oh, before I forget, I just wanted to say, as far as female-led movies, I know people always go to Sigourney Weaver
Yeah.
as the standard where you say like, "Hey, that's a female-led movie." But I also want to throw in one other movie that people always forget, and that is The Long Kiss Goodnight, and that's with Gina Davis and Samuel L. Jackson.
That's a
She's the
classic.
lead. She's a spy. Great movie. I mean, she's a badass throughout most of the movie when she starts to remember. I mean, so there are plenty of other movies that. So I just wanted to say that for people who always like,
Like
oh,
to
you
clarify
always
so that
go
I'm
to.
not labeled as a fucking
No, no,
woman
no.
hater.
I don't really care about that part. It's more along the lines that people will say, oh, you always go to Sigourney Weaver as the standard for a female-led movie
Yeah,
that's
for
good.
sure.
And there's others out there. We do go there because that's one of the best.
Well, I mean,
But I'll
Alien
also say,
is the quintessential science fiction movie. There,
yeah,
if anybody can say any, I would love to hear anybody's rebuttal. But everything in modern science fiction was taken from Alien. Drop
yeah.
ships were taken from Alien.
And
Everything was taken from Alien.
And look, and besides the long kiss goodnight, I think I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that we can count Terminator 2 as a
Oh
female-led movie
shit,
because Sarah
absolutely, man,
Connor was a
for
total
sure.
badass in that movie.
I
Total.
I just
In
think
fact,
like
I
it's,
agree with her ideas in the
but she's
movie
a
of,
strong
of killing what's her
female
name.
character, man. She's a good lead. And like, you know, to be fair, I'm gonna be really fair here, and I'm gonna say that like, all right, I liked Force Awakens. There, I said it.
You know?
I stick by it.
And
I
and
still
now
like
and
it.
I
And I
and
like
I still
Rogue
I hate
One.
it now.
Okay. All the other ones are shit. Now I'm going to clarify myself because we have people watching and I need to make sure that I fucking don't make myself look like a dickhead. But like, I like Force Awakens and I like Rogue One because it's just fan service. That's all I want from Star Wars at this point. Star Wars is
Yeah.
completely creatively bankrupt. So like the only thing I want is that fan service. But I didn't have a problem with her being a Mary Sue, dude. I did not care. Like everybody made a big deal, like, oh, she just knows how to do all this. It's like, dude, who gives a shit? She's in the Millennium Falcon, right? Like, what do you expect
Yeah.
from a Star Wars movie at this point? They're
Well,
completely creatively bankrupt.
well, let me give you some news of what I remember. I'm already starting to get buzzed, and I've only had 2 beers. But hold on a second.
Yeah.
So the first news is I don't know if you know this, but they're making a show, a Disney Plus show based on Rey.
Yeah. I know.
Do you know that?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think that I think it's creatively bankrupt, Dave.
Okay, okay, all right. Okay, so
I think it's a
Dave,
pile of shit, and I think that if you need to go back to the well of Ray Palpatine in order to fucking just kind of move the Star Wars
well,
needle
that's
again,
not Ray's fault. Don't blame Ray. That's not her fault.
hey man, like all I'm saying is like she could have been like at the end of Rise of Skywalker, and a woman's like, "Who are you?" Right, and she could have easily been like, "I'm Ray Palpatine." But like she was like, "No, I'm a Skywalker." Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're
Actually,
not.
here's my vision. She should have went up to the woman, walked up to her slowly, and then touched her hand to her face and been like, "Dinner."
Nice. Nice. Good reference, dude. Good reference.
No, no, I look, I, I resent the Force Awakens. I do love Rogue One, even though other people hate it and they're like, "Oh, it is just fan service." I think fan service is fine. Why not? It's entertainment. It's fun.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
why?
And that's all I
Not
expect from
everything
Star
has to
Wars
be
at
a
this point.
masterpiece.
Is
Right.
anybody really expecting Star Wars or Lucasfilm to break new ground?
I don't. I don't. Well, look, I will. This is the other part of the news that I wanted to say is that Dave Filoni is making a High Republic. I don't know if it's a movie or a TV show. I think it's a
Do you want my
movie,
thoughts on
but he's
Filoni?
still. Yeah, I know you hate him. Go ahead, but say more.
Nah. Hey man, I look at it this way. It's like if the only thing that's
Be
keeping these
honest.
people employed now is the fact that they're activists, right? Like
Yeah,
they're
well,
not
look,
good writers.
if
Like
it'll get you on Dave Filoni and John Favreau's side, Kathleen
yeah.
Kennedy has been in butting heads with them. So, I mean, if
Well,
Kathleen Kennedy hates them, you should like them. Or unless, do you like Kathleen Kennedy? Oh, I didn't know that.
no, I don't actually. I actually hate her. I don't know. You couldn't see my face, but I was like squinting so hard. Kathleen Kennedy needs to be fired overnight, like right now.
Then
If you want
I
to
don't
save
get why
Star
she's
Wars,
still
dude, if
hired.
look at this camera right now. If anybody's watching this, if you want to save Star Wars right now, Kathleen Kennedy needs to be fired. It's
Yeah,
as
yeah,
simple as
and
that.
look, and he is and Remux is usually the more aggressive voice as
Yeah,
someone who's more the pacifist and kind of like the devil's advocate
yeah,
for Star Wars. I will 100% agree. I don't understand how she is still employed. She
yeah.
must have either something on the CEO of Disney himself or everybody there is completely blind to the fact that nobody in the Star Wars community wants her there.
I
I
think
have
that
never
that's it.
seen anyone say, "I like Kathleen Kennedy and what she's doing."
No, nobody.
Never, never,
It-
never, never.
I think the only reason why she's still around is because she's been around since Spielberg was doing Indiana Jones. You know what I mean? Like she's been around for decades. They will absolutely get rid of her. I think the first domino to fall was that most recent lady,
Yeah,
that
she's the one
producer.
who abused the visual effects artists and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
but
But
like
look,
the reason why they fired her was weird. It was like she went and did a streaming contract, or she's producing something for Amazon, and it breached her
oh,
contract. So
oh,
like
okay.
they let her go because of that. Now that's what they're saying. Like, I'll say
Yeah,
that it's probably because all our movies are shit, and it's a
yeah.
failing
Mm.
concept, and none of that activism is working anymore to sell tickets. And I think that Kathleen Kennedy's not far behind. Um,
I don't know. I don't know what she has on the studio,
I don't
but
know either.
I have never seen a streamer. I have never met a person.
No,
I've never seen a news article with a journalist or just even a blogger
nope.
that has ever defended her. Never in their lives. So I don't
I don't know.
understand how nobody at the studio sees that and says, "Let's get like." You're telling me nobody at the studio sees that everybody hates her? Somebody
Well,
has to
it's
see that
part of
and
this
say
Hollywood
something.
on fire thing. Everybody wants to talk about ChatGPT, right? But like, let's talk about how bad creatively a lot of these studios are doing. Like, I actually see that Warner Brothers is probably going to be the most successful studio moving forward because they were garbage leading into what's happening, but now that they're coming off of the streaming platforms and they're trying to get people to go to the theaters because they know that they're resurrecting well, the DCEU, but they're also resurrecting a lot of these properties that have been in
Yep.
the vault for a long time. I actually think that in the next few years, I think Warner Brothers is going to crush it. Whether or not those movies are good or not or is a different topic, but I think business wise, like just sales wise, I think they're going to do really good.
Well, you know what? That's a perfect segue because I actually have some news concerning a Warner Brothers movie. Give me 1 second here. Let me put on my
Nice.
peepers.
Word.
Put on my peepers so I can see. So I will tell you the news. There's two bits of the news. So what do we got here? If I'm not mistaken, Mortal Kombat is a Warner Brothers own film,
It
but let
is,
me
yeah.
just check.
I just read
It is.
something
Okay.
about the sequel.
Yeah.
I think your boy from The Boys is actually going to be
Oh yeah.
Johnny
I was
Cage.
just about to say my man crush,
Yeah,
Carl Urban. He's
yeah,
set to play Johnny Cage, and
yeah.
I can't wait. But
I
I've
like that
always
movie.
had
I don't have any problem with that. I mean, I still love the original. Like that's fan service to the
yeah,
max.
yeah. But I tell you what, like the original, like put yourself in the shoes of a 40-year-old watching that for the first time, and you have to admit it is bad. I know you want to defend it. I know you want to, but
I
you
do.
know it's a
I do because it's not
fucking
that
bad
bad. I mean,
movie.
like it's a movie about a
It's
people that go to a fucking island to fight each other
I
to the
know,
death.
you're right. You're right. It's fun. It's a fun movie.
I
I
mean,
agree with you.
we watch Bloodsport. What the fuck is the difference
We've
between
watched
Bloodsport and Mortal Kombat?
no,
Nothing. The
we watched No Retreat, No Surrender, and we love No
Oh,
Retreat, No
dude,
Surrender, and that was
I
a with
watched
a
that.
imaginary Bruce Lee.
Dude,
Yeah.
wait. Was it No Retreat, No Surrender or Best of the Best that has the ice cream scene where the kid's eating
You
the
know,
ice cream while he's doing push-ups on him? It was the most questionable scene.
I'm not sure.
I'm gonna say
I don't know.
it was the one where Bruce Lee comes back from the death.
Oh
That
yeah,
is
well
it's No
that's No
Retreat, No
Retreat, No
Surrender.
Surrender. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
No Retreat, No Surrender.
dude,
That's with
that
Jean
was
Claude Van
a
Damme at the end.
questionable scene. Like
It
that, like people talk about
was.
the volleyball scene in Top Gun. Dude, no way. Like this guy's
Yeah.
literally doing push-ups in a park while the kid's like riding on top of him eating an ice cream, dude. It was weird. Right? It was, and he had like a super weird look on his face.
Yeah. So let me ask you, because we're talking about the next Mortal Kombat movie, which
Yeah.
is obviously they've already cast Carl Urban. So would you think of the first, but not the first one, but the newer one? Would you think of it?
I liked it. I think that see now most people who don't know about Mortal Kombat because they're stupid, they don't realize that like Mortal Kombat actually has a fuck ton of lore. Right? I like lore. I like it. I think that this kind of goes into that lore a little bit more. It's a little surface level. But I mean, compared to the first one, like the first one didn't have any lore at all. It was just like, okay, here's a bunch of people. You just drop them on an island, they fight to the death, and there's a Goro, right? And
Yeah.
Shang Tsung. But this new one, I actually think that it has potential to kind of go into the lore of Mortal Kombat. So I'm actually
Yeah.
pretty excited about it. I
Yeah.
think that it's going to be
Okay.
really good. I think it's going to be one of Warner Brothers' probably best movies that's coming out. In not obviously the
Well,
Flash and everything
let me
else.
move on to the next movie. That's a good segue.
All right, nice.
I personally, I would say that the newer movie for me, it was good. It wasn't as memorable as the first one, but I think that's slightly more
When it
member
comes to
berries
movies like that,
because
though, dude, I have like when it comes to those kind of movies, like I have I'm not watching it for like writing dialogue and execution more so than it's just it's a fun movie, right? It's like I look at
Yeah,
that
it
movie the
is.
same way I look at the fucking Transformers, right? Where
It is. It is.
it
I
is.
mean, it's Mortal Kombat. How could you go in there and say like
I
I
agree.
was expecting The Godfather? Like
Yeah.
you have to be an asshole to think that.
Yeah, 100%.
So let me move on to my other Warner Brothers announcement. So as you know, there's a new Final Destination movie coming out called Final Destination 6. I got a question on your favorite, but I'll ask it at the end because
I should
this
go to
is
fucking extreme close up cam now.
I think I'm gonna guess your favorite one, but I'll
Okay, yeah,
tell
go
you
ahead.
I'll tell you that in a
Yeah,
minute.
I
But
actually
let me
don't think that you're gonna get it.
You don't think so? I think it's the
Maybe,
third
I don't
one.
know. We've known each other a long time. You
It's
probably
the
will.
third one. It's the roller coaster. Is it?
Um, no.
That's the one with the roller
The
coaster.
one with
Oh,
the roller
really?
coaster is excellent. My favorite one is the one with the bridge.
Oh, so that must be one of the newer ones because I'm
It's
kind
the
of
one
drawn.
with fucking what's his name from Krampus, the brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
and the
You know
bridge
what? Then
falls
that's one
apart.
of the newer ones. I can't
It's
remember.
pretty dope. Like it's terrible, but it's good. But yeah, no,
Let
I
me.
like the Final Destination movies. I think it's a great concept.
Yeah.
I think that you are ultimately saying you're just it's an ultimate show of how creatively bankrupt Hollywood is when they always have to fucking go back to the same well again. I think that
Yeah.
it's it's a
Well,
concept that can be kind of like recreated in something else. It doesn't have to be Final Destination, but because Final Destination's a high concept, everybody knows the name. Like they consistently go back to the same well.
I'll say this, and this is going to be interesting. So, what I've read on it, there's a $20 million budget. John Watts, which is the director
Yeah.
of, excuse me, not the director, the writer of Spider-Man: No Way Home. He's been signed on to write it. So they revealed the title. It's called Final Destination 6 Bloodlines. Now, there's a blurb here that I got about the details. It's an update because right now the update or the plot synopsis on IMDb is completely wrong. So let me read you the update and
Hit
then
me.
I'll ask
Hit
for your
me.
thoughts on it. So it's called Final Destination 6 Bloodlines. So here is a small plot summary and it's an update. Now, this is on a site that you actually need a subscription for, but somebody was discussing it on YouTube, so I was able to get the info. So it's
Nice.
a young woman named Stephanie has a recurring dream about dying in a fire that occurred in the 1960s. She realizes that it's not just a dream, but a premonition of the fate that awaits her family. Her grandmother had escaped the same fate years ago. Now death is coming after Stephanie's entire family, and she must find a way to stop it before it's too late.
All right, I have a
So,
question.
yes.
Who the fuck is the grandmother? And if you tell me it's somebody from the original Final Destination, I'm gonna fucking
No,
lose my
no, no.
mind.
I don't think there's any. I didn't get any cast members,
All right.
but
I'm gonna look it up
if
right now while you do that.
if that confuses you, basically, so a woman in the 1960s, she managed to escape death, and she escaped the fire. Now, many years later, she's had children, she's had grandchildren, and now all of those people shouldn't exist because she shouldn't exist. So now death is going to kill everyone that she gave birth to,
Okay.
which is an interesting concept because it's a lot smaller. Now I'm a bit nervous at the fact that it's just going to be a house fire, but they're only working on a $20 million budget, so it's small budget, but it's an interesting concept where death is going to kill everyone who shouldn't exist.
All right, but that's gonna create a butterfly effect, wouldn't it? So
Well, also
technically,
there's the
yeah.
question of why did death wait that long? That's more of the bigger question
because
because if she
fucking
had
because the
children and
studio needed
grandchildren,
money.
I guess so, but I have to say that it is an interesting concept because it's not the same old like an accident happens. Like it's going to, jump forward and it's going to involve people that shouldn't exist in this world. So,
Right.
yeah, so it's one of those things that like where, what do you
It's
say
not
when they say
horrible.
you
I
shouldn't
like
exist?
those movies. I mean, they can't be any worse. My only criticism before, I mean, it could be great. 20 million budget is nothing, but like it could
No,
be
that's nothing.
It could be good, but my thing is like, who the fuck asks for like another Final Destination movie? Nobody.
It's Warner Brothers. After all that money that they spent on the merger, they're looking to just make money out of all of their franchises. So I'm
Yeah, that's why
assuming
fucking Beetlejuice is coming
that's
out,
it.
dude. God damn it, Beetlejuice
Yeah,
2.
I know.
Beetlejuice is fucking terrible.
I don't think I told you, but my favorite Final Destination is actually part two. I like the one with the highway accident and the logs,
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
truck full of logs.
That's a good one. That's
That's
a pretty
actually my
memorable
favorite
scene.
one.
Yeah, that's a good
Although,
one.
believe it or not, a lot of people love the roller coaster.
Yeah, that one's
That's
not
like
bad at all. I think that
the
one's pretty good
number
too.
one out of all of them. Yeah, I was watching, or I'm not watching. I was reading a ranking of the best ones, and that one gets consistently thrown up there. And then usually it's second place is the first one, and then I don't know after
Came out
that.
at a good
But
time too. I mean, it was a pretty hyped movie when it
we
first came
saw it
out.
in the
I
theater, didn't
remember.
we?
I mean, the first one came out in 2000.
Oh my God,
Yeah, I know.
that was before 9/11 changed everything.
9/11. I'm trying to think.
So
Ali
I
Larter
have
was
only one. I only have one more news, and that's that they're remaking The Faces of Death, and I wanted to hear your reaction to that.
first one
That
was
they're
stupid. Like
remaking The Faces.
all those movies, Faces of Death is interesting. It's like that's the Faces of Death is like the legend that everybody fucking knew about as a kid. Everybody thought they were like legitimate snuff films, which was just fucking
Okay,
strange. And
that's a great point that you bring up.
yeah,
So how do you remake a film and capture that magic again? Because we had that magic because we didn't have the internet, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have anything like that. So,
yeah.
just word got around that it was real, and everybody believed that Faces of Death was real. But no, how could you in this age? How could you believe that this Faces of Death is real? So
Yeah,
isn't the magic kind of gone? I mean, it'd probably be a decent horror movie because, from what I understand, they're going to mix, documentary style footage with like the other stuff, and they're going to update it, and it's going to be redone, and they want to make it gory and graphic, but
I mean, like
ultimately, it's not real.
I think they're gonna use the name, but
You're right.
you can't use. They're gonna create an entirely different story. Like all those movies were a bunch of fake found footage of people dying,
Yeah,
and like once everybody saw it,
it's
like
the
once you
original
saw it,
found
it was
footage.
yeah, and once you saw it, you knew it was fake, and it wore off, right? So like they're
Yeah.
just using the name. You
But
can't
there's some
do
people
a
who
movie like that
swore
today.
some of it was real. There's some
Yeah.
people who always said like, "Oh, that's real," but it's all fake.
Yeah, it's all fake. Like another one too was like the Blair Witch Project came out at the perfect time for
Mhm.
that.
They got a
Remember?
remake of that coming out. Did you know
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Look at the sound of it was like your soul leaving your body. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
I know. I'm fucking dying inside because it's so like god damn it, man. Can we get anything fucking new? Can we get
we are.
anything new? Anything?
Our man Mike Flanagan is gonna save us soon. Don't worry,
Yeah,
he's
I
got another
fucking
movie
hope
coming out
so,
soon.
man. I don't know. Like fucking Midnight Club isn't for me, but I get it.
No, but he's a good director. He's a good writer. And he knows what he's doing, and I'm sure we can expect the next film to be awesome.
He's great, man. I
Uh,
like his work. I think
um,
he was involved. What the fuck? He was just talking to somebody about doing it was something abnormal. I can't remember. There's so much
oh
fucking
really?
floating around in my head right now.
I know. There's a lot of news, and I've only had 3 beers, and I'm heavily buzzed
I
right
think
now.
he fucking said something about where was it the new Nightmare on Elm Street? No,
Oh, really?
I think it was Friday the 13th. Maybe
Oh,
there's
he's
some
gonna take on like
he's involved in trying to kind of push it in a direction. I think it was that.
yeah.
I don't really know, but like I hope that he is, dude. Honestly, like in terms of A24, Mike Flanagan, like Ari Aster obviously is great.
Yeah.
I like Hereditary. You've seen Midnight Summer or Midsummer? Sorry,
Oh yeah, I did.
Midsummer.
I did.
Yeah,
I
I I liked it.
It's an issue. You
It
know what?
wasn't as
I
good
did like
though.
it actually. I would say, yeah, exactly. It's not a movie that I'd watch again, but it was
Yo,
enjoyable.
when that guy went up on the hill though, holy shit.
Mm, mm. I just love Florence Poe's pouty face. Like, I'd love to get a body pillow of that face so I could sleep on it
Doesn't
because her face is just so pouty. Oh my God, can you imagine, that picture that you sent me with her and the flowers with
yeah,
the pout? I
yeah.
would love a big pillow with that picture on it.
The fucking
I
dude
would love
Jack
that.
Jack Rayner or whatever, her boyfriend Christian, like that. Tell me he does not look like he's like discount like Star
Discount
Lord,
Chris
right?
Pratt.
Yeah,
Yep.
he looks like Chris
Discount
Pratt.
Chris Pratt. I
It
did the
looks like
same
Chris
thing. I
Pratt.
was like, it's
It's
discount
fucking
Chris Pratt.
crazy, man. Oh
Are
man.
you gonna go see the Guardians of the Galaxy movie?
I'm hearing really good things. Of course, I actually, to be honest, I'm not gonna
But
go to
you
the
like
movie.
you like
I'm
the
not going to the
franchise,
movies
so.
to see that shit.
Oh,
I'll go
okay.
see Evil Dead Rise before I go see fucking
Hmm.
Guardians in the theater.
I agree. You should
But
see that.
and that's just because I don't want to give Marvel my money, right? Like
Hmm.
I would 100%. I like Guardians. Actually, Guardians is probably my favorite out of all the Marvel movies. And the second one was good too. James Gunn is awesome, and I really hope that he does well with Superman
Now,
Legacy.
be honest. What do you think of the DC universe that's coming up?
Right now,
Don't.
or where they're
Yeah,
going?
where they're going. What do you think of it?
Um,
You're not confident.
I'm not confident, but I'm not
All right.
confident because
That's what
I
I want to hear.
feel I. How can I put it?
It's okay. It's okay. It's fair. It's fair to say that. That's why I'm getting you to
Okay,
say it because you shouldn't
I'm
hold
just gonna
back.
say it, and it is what it is. But all right, so you have all these like, all right, look at the Batman. You have the Batman. You have Flash, obviously, which is going to be the jump off point because they're just
Hmm.
creating the multiverse by doing that. But
Although they're still letting Matt Reeves make a second Batman,
which
so
doesn't make
they're
sense.
still
That's
yeah,
exactly where I was going.
and then the
Exactly where I
Penguin
was going.
series.
Why?
Okay, go ahead, continue.
Why the fuck do we need multiple fucking iterations of a superhero movie in different universes at the same fucking time, right? Other than the fact that you fucked everything up and now you have to fucking fix it with James Gunn doing this multiverse shit. And it's like, okay, you have Joker, which I thought was a great iteration. I actually enjoyed Joker. Okay, I love Batman, but I'm fucking tired of Batman, right? I actually would have respected it if Ben Affleck would have remained as Batman after the Justice League and they would have kept forward with that. I actually like Affleck as Batman. And then, yeah, I said it. I actually think
Yeah,
Batfleck is fucking great.
it
But the
is.
DCEU is suffering from other problems that's not just reusing the same IPs. It's just piss poor direction and just not knowing what they want to do with their properties. That's the problem, right? Like you have Batman, which is the crux of your entire universe is
And that should
solely
be
focused around
treated with
Batman.
care.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be treated with absolute care. That should be your gold standard
I guess my
character.
biggest fucking thing when I ask everybody why they like the Batman, because that movie was way overhyped. That movie was a pile of shit, right?
Yeah, that's what I want to hear. What do you
Yeah.
think? Be
That
honest,
movie
because I
was a
know you
pile of
didn't like
shit.
it. I
Now,
thought it was just okay. I
when
never
I
watched it more
ask
than once.
people why they like the Batman, the usual fucking there's two responses that you'll always get is fucking what's his name from Twilight, whatever his name is.
Robert
Yeah,
Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson he looks great in a bat suit. Okay, right off the bat, don't care. And then two, it's like, well, it's year two, right? It's like as he's starting to become Batman, he's still kind of like fresh and stuff like that. And it's like I get it, but it's like it's like how many fucking times do we need to see this origin story kind
Yeah.
of unfold? And thank God it didn't like go into the direction of like, okay, Batman's parents are dead, and like now we're going back into like it's just it's kind of like enough already. And I think that if you're gonna start, okay, Michael Keaton's coming in, Batman, like Ben Affleck's coming in, we're getting all these like Robert Pattinson, or is that his name? Robert Pattinson, right?
Yeah, I
He's
don't
gonna
think he's
be
gonna
a
be in the
version of
movie,
it, and
but
are they
he's gonna
gonna
be in a different
coexist? Is
version.
my answer. It's like is that
No, they're not.
see
If I'm
why
not mistaken,
why
if I'm not mistaken, the Matt Reeves Batman will still be a separate universe. If I'm not mistaken, it's still going to be a separate universe.
fucking
With the,
why?
I would imagine it's because Warner Brothers would like to make money from everywhere in the
Exactly.
DC universe.
Right, exactly. And I'm gonna
Yeah,
say
I
this. I'm
agree.
gonna say this. Yeah, the Riddler sucked. There, I said it.
Yeah,
I think the Riddler sucked. I think it was more of a, like,
people
look, I
really
can get
praised them, right?
exactly what happened in that movie. First of all, Batman didn't figure anything out. He was told everything by everybody around him. He was given all the answers to him. He didn't figure shit out. The world's greatest detective didn't figure shit out. Like everybody else around him told him, and he then uncovered the mystery due to the clues that everybody else was giving him, right? Like he didn't figure anything out. But on top of that, the Riddler was like, I get it, but I don't know. It would have been a lot cooler if, like, I don't know. I don't know. It just, the Riddler was it was weak. It felt like a procedural show.
I would say this.
It felt very
There's a couple
procedural,
of
dude.
there's a couple of superhero movies that I've watched more than once, and I apologize offhand if you hear like motorcycles and stuff revving because I have a bar near me and like
No,
it's
I don't hear
Friday night,
shit.
so they're going nuts. Okay, so yeah, I'd say I don't know. I haven't watched any of the newer movies more than once. Like the Batman, I've only seen it once. It's a good movie, but that's it. I have no urge to watch it more than once. Whereas something in the realm of Christopher Reeve Superman, I've seen like 10, 15 times.
I wonder if that's something to do with our age, because like I feel the same way,
It could be.
right? Where
It
it's
could
like
be.
when I was younger, man, I would rewatch
Well,
Superman all the time.
let me try and think of a movie I've seen more than once that's newer. Kingsman. I've seen I've seen Kingsman: The Secret Service more than once. I've
Yeah,
seen it
it's
about
good.
4 or 5 times. I
It's a
like
good
that one.
movie.
So, and that's a newer movie. So there
Yeah,
you
it's
go.
good.
That's so yeah. I just
Yeah, I'll never watch it, dude. I laughed so hard when he cut the fucking cord and he fell in the Batman into the fucking puddle. Like it was that really slow motion shot. Like I'm in the theater and I'm fucking cracking up. Like my cousin is looking over at me and like my family's there and like I cannot stop laughing because it just that scene was so cringe that like I don't get it, man. Whatever. It's
I know
it's
you didn't like
I
it,
just
and
unnecessary. If you're gonna
that's
reboot it,
reasonable.
at least give us some time. Like if you're gonna continue, if you're gonna fuck me,
Yeah,
at least take me
that's
out
like
for dinner. Like you know what I mean? Like let some time pass if you're gonna fuck me over, right?
yeah,
Like
it's like
like
the Spider-Man. Like if they reboot Spider-Man in the next 5 years, I don't want anything to do with it. I've had
what,
enough. I've had
dude?
enough
Keep
of
in mind,
Spider-Man.
like they jumped from Andrew Garfield right to the what's his name, like almost immediately. Like that
And
was
he's a good actor. And don't get me
yes, it's
wrong, the
great.
movies themselves are good, but I'm done. I've had enough.
I actually will say that if I had to fucking praise any Marvel movie, which obviously Guardians is probably my favorite, but if I did, Spider-Man is the most enjoyable to watch, right?
It
Like
is.
Spider-Man is
It
an
is
excellent
fun.
movie. Um Again, like actually Spider-Man's a pretty good look. They changed Mary Jane, right? They made Mary Jane African American. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like
Is she African
because
American? I have no
they
idea.
didn't make a big deal about it, right? They weren't
What's
shoehorning anything. Yeah.
what's the actress's name
Oh, I can't
again?
remember.
Zendaya.
I don't know.
Zendaya.
But like she's
Yeah, it's
good. And
Zendaya.
like what I mean is like
Right,
woke
right.
Hollywood, if you want to call it that, like that was making a big deal about. No, nobody said anything about Spider-Man. It was just good, right? You don't need
Yeah,
to do that. Nobody
exactly.
cares.
And there you go. And well, there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
Um, there is another example of a modern movie that has a
100%.
change in it
Yeah.
where nobody is flipping out. Nobody's saying like, "Oh, it's a boycott this
Changing a
movie." It's
race of a
just
character doesn't make
yeah.
anything good or bad.
It's just when you bring it to the forefront and then you put it in the forefront of the plot, like it's part of the plot. When it
Yeah.
doesn't mix in with the plot, then it's just like, why?
Like
Don't do
fucking
that.
Joker falls
Don't
into
do
like
that.
a fucking vat in Gotham Factory, but when he comes out, he's like he's black or some shit. Like,
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine if he comes out and like people call him cracker or
dude.
powder? Powder. Oh, we haven't talked about powder. We'll talk
Oh
about
my
powder in
god,
a minute.
powder. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. I want to touch on something before. It's like
Oh,
it's
okay.
kind
Yeah.
of like in my most recent video and my Spielberg video anyway. I kind of called out the fact that there is a difference between like people that want to like studios that want to profit right off of the backs of IP, but then there's also like studios that want to do the same thing, but then like use cultural division in order to sell more tickets, right? So like I look at like if you have to market Spider-Man in a negative way of saying like, well, Mary Jane is black or whoever is black, or whatever character, Captain America is black, it doesn't matter, right? Like that type of stuff won't sell more tickets. It's just getting buzz and it's putting people against each other, and it doesn't make the script any better or
Yeah. Well,
worse.
I will say one thing, and then
It's
I gotta go
trash.
pee because I gotta pee really bad. But I will say one thing is that if the Spider-Man movie started off with
Yeah,
part of the plot being that Mary Jane is black and that like there's this big deal that she's dating Peter Parker because she's black,
right.
it would have made it a terrible movie. But it just streamlined. It's just she's black. She's Mary Jane. That's
Nobody
it. There's no
cares.
mention of it.
Yeah,
there's no like, oh my God, she's black. There's
I know.
nothing of that. But
And
and I think that's the problem is you can't take that stuff and hammer people over the head because we already get that shit in real life every day.
I
And I
agree.
get it. I'm one of those people who are very empathetic,
Yeah,
but I don't need that in my art and entertainment because I get it. I'm not blind to it. So
right.
I don't need it hammered in my head
Yeah.
in my entertainment.
No,
And
it
now
should
I
be criticism based upon the quality of the artwork, right? If the script
exactly.
and everything else is crap, then the movie's
If
crap.
the art were
It doesn't matter who's in it.
if the plot revolves around that, that's fine. I
Yeah.
mean, movies uh Jungle Fever or something to that
Yeah.
effect. I can't think of anything or sooner. I feel like such an
Jungle
old
Fever.
man
Holy
saying
shit!
Jungle
What year is
Fever.
it,
Yeah,
dude?
I know. But movies like Jungle Fever, like obviously, like it is gonna talk about that. But Spider-Man, like you don't need that in there.
Yeah,
Like
like who cares?
just streamline it, and
Hey,
that's
you
why
know
the movie
what? And
works.
I'll say that making Mary Jane African American or switching the race of the character does nothing
I know it's
because
great.
she's still light years ahead of Kirsten Dunst, who
Yeah, and
was
she's a good actress.
horrible.
Yeah, and she's a good actress. She's intriguing. She's
Yeah,
not like the same Mary Jane. She
that's
seems
what
like
makes a good
bummish
movie,
at
man.
first. Yeah. All right, dude,
All right,
I gotta go
we'll
pee. Give me 30 seconds.
we'll take a 2 minute
That's 2
break.
minutes. That's
We will
yeah. Have a
we'll
baby
for all the
bladder.
3 people that
Okay,
are
it's better.
watching, stick around.
Yeah, for three
We'll take
people.
a three
Yeah.
minute break. 3 minutes. We're coming back.
I'll be back. Baby time. Ah. I need that.
All right, we're back. I actually pushed us to the be right back screen because we got some high quality, our second stream ever, and we got like scenes. We're making transitions. It's fucking
Oh,
crazy.
man. I tell
Yeah.
you, I peed and it was just like man on campus. Remember the conspiracy guy when he pees and he's like, "Oh,
Oh yeah.
that is precious. That is precious." I'm a very light drinker, so like 3 beers and I'm done because I don't normally drink, but I just wanted to get loosened up for this podcast, and it works out pretty well because I am loosened up.
Good. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Mm.
But getting back to what we were talking about with Hollywood being an absolute disaster right now, I think AI is the least of Hollywood's problems right now. And I
Hmm.
mean that in the most like honest way. I've been watching a lot more television than movies lately because there's just absolutely no quality movies that's coming out. I mean, granted, like I went to go see Super Mario Brothers and I'm going to see Evil Dead, but there's nothing coming out that's really. I mean, look, there's some cool stuff coming down the pipe, but Hollywood is running into an issue where if you're going to introduce AI, then what the fuck is Hollywood going to do? I mean, we're already entering the area right now
Right.
where,
We'll have AI movies in like
yeah,
5 years. We won't watch movies with actors. We'll just
yeah.
watch AI movies, which is insane. That is scary, and at the same time, I don't know. Like, what is that gonna bring? Like,
Well,
is it gonna be
I'm really gonna,
entertaining?
I'm
Is
really
it gonna
gonna
be the end of actors?
think about this. Like, what happens now if okay, we're already seeing people being euthanized, if you want to call it that, where they're being, like Harrison Ford's made younger. You have Princess Leia, you have
Yeah.
Grand Moff Tarkin, you have all these. ILM is doing incredible work. At which point are their likeness rights just going to be used forever? Because
Well, that's. I
you
mean,
don't need
yeah. I mean,
actors.
what happens in 10 years if like Hollywood's like,
Oh
well, we
yeah,
don't like any of the new actors. Let's just use all of the old ones and just make them
right.
younger.
Like,
Oh
dude, we're
God,
gonna be
like
going to
we wouldn't have
Tupac
any
concerts in
creativity. Yeah.
another 10 years. We're gonna be seeing Tupac and fucking Nirvana and shit because they're all gonna be just AI driven, and especially with what's
Yeah.
going on with computers right now. I mean, just CGI alone. I mean, I've been out of the game for a couple years now, and I can honestly say that like it's surpassed. It doesn't stop.
Well, they're using AI already for NPCs. So
Yeah.
NPC behavior is going to be locked to AI. But I heard that you can make games with AI. Like
Well, you
AI
can.
will make games for you. Yeah.
You can make anything
So
you want, really. Yeah,
yeah.
I have
So
nipples,
again,
Greg.
game developers better be aware as well.
I have nipples,
It's going to take
Greg.
over
Could you
everything.
milk
What
me?
can you do? What kind of apocalypse do you think? Are you think we're gonna go the Terminator 2 route or the Matrix route where we fucking darken the sky and it looks like shit?
Oh, for
Well,
sure, the
they both look
Matrix.
like shit because the Terminator 2 is always dark as well,
Yeah.
except for the Terminator Salvation movie, but
Oh
all the
man,
other
it
ones.
happened in Highlander also, if you remember.
Oh, that's right. They had the red sky in Highlander 2.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that movie in over 20
I
years.
always
Now you're
think
making me
about it. The dudes on the hoverboard where they're like, McCloud, you're gonna die.
people who love the Highlander hate that fucking movie because it
Ah,
changes like all the lore and
it's
everything.
fucking
But
Highlander. Like, is
I
it
think I
like, I don't
remember as a
know.
kid
All of them
liking
are
it.
cool.
Yeah, I think I remember liking it just because Ramirez was back, and
You know
who
what's
doesn't
funny?
love
I watched all of Eastbound and Down, right? I went through all the seasons. It's a really good show.
I've seen only one season, but
It's pretty good.
it's really funny.
Danny
It's
McBride
it's
is amazing.
awkward show, right?
Yeah.
It's
Da-
like one of those shows where like Curb Your Enthusiasm, where like they do things where you're like, oh my god, it's embarrassing.
yeah, totally. It's very
Is that how it
cringe.
is, right?
Yeah, Danny McBride
Oh,
is a baseball player who is like kind of like retired. Well, not retired, but he's not playing up to snuff. So he goes on with his life, and it's a story about his travels through life after baseball, and it's a really good show. It's funny as shit because it's Danny McBride. But what I was gonna say is the contrast to that, because Will Ferrell is also in it. He plays a
I've
small
seen his
role,
character.
but it's such
My
like
plums.
Danny McBride's character is so close to Will Ferrell's in Talladega Nights. It's scary, and you actually
Oh,
see some
really?
similarities because there was a reference where remember in Talladega Nights where they were saying like, oh, like I saw Highlander, it was shit, right? Because like Will Ferrell was basically trying to convince the Frenchman that like Highlander was like won Academy Awards and all this shit,
Yeah.
right? And he like went and saw it and said, "Oh, shit." They made the same
He's
reference.
white trash.
Yeah, they made the same reference inside of Eastbound and Down, and I'm like, yo, that's so funny how like it's like crossing. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I I would say that for Eastbound and Down. I've only watched I think one season, but I think what I
Yeah,
like about it is that the character is completely flawed. He's almost not the hero. Like he does things
he's a
that you're
piece of
just like,
shit, dude.
what a fucking asshole. Like you're just like, what an asshole,
Bro, it
but you
gets
still
worse.
like him.
If
Yeah.
you only
But
saw the first
you still
season,
end up rooting him for him. Yeah. Yeah,
dude,
you're right. I've only seen the first season,
yo,
but
it
in
gets
that first
fucking
season, he's an
crazy.
asshole.
It gets
He's an
fucking
asshole who does
crazy.
he makes the worst fucking decisions, and you're just like, why would you do that? Like,
I
why
what I
would
love
you
about it
do
is
that?
he's got a loving supporting wife, well, a girlfriend in the show, right? And that eventually becomes his wife. But he's such a piece of shit that he's so lucky to have somebody who supports him so much, but yet he still cannot help himself, and he's like just a piece of shit. and it
And
gets
he's yeah,
progressively worse throughout the show, so
man, and
much
that's good.
that you're
That's
like, I
good
can't fucking
characters right
believe
there.
this is happening right now.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's a good character right there. When the character is such an awful character, and you're still like, come on, bro, like you can do it. Like you're
yeah.
still trying to chug them along. You're like, I still believe in you, and you're just like, but I believe in you, but you're such a fucking
Yo,
idiot.
it is fucked up. Like Danny McBride is excellent. I mean, he's involved in the new Halloween movies, right? Like I'm pretty sure he wrote
Yeah,
the
he's
first
wrote it.
two. Yeah,
Yeah, that's so weird, right?
yeah,
Like you look at him and you're just like, huh?
yeah,
Can
yeah.
you imagine him in the writer's room with the accent
Oh my god.
of Eastbound and Down, behaving like
He's
that?
brilliant, man. I really think, like, I didn't see the second season yet. I got to rewatch the first one because it's been so long. But the gemstones, the righteous gemstones,
Yeah, I heard
um
that's a good movie. I
yeah,
never watched
and
it.
that's a good show. And also, like, I mean, he was in, you remember movie Hot Rod with Andy Samberg?
I do. That's
Dude,
such a. And by the
he
way,
was
I
in
should
that
tell you.
shit.
Yeah, for anybody who's for the two people who are watching this, if you haven't watched Hot Rod, you got to
Yeah,
watch it. It's an Andy Samberg film, and it is quality.
yeah.
Underrated.
Oh,
Underrated is what I
we have
would say.
5 people watching us.
Oh, nice,
Man, that's cool,
nice.
man. All right. Yeah, dude, he was also in what fucking, I'm trying to remember what it was, a movie with, and I can't remember the name of the movie. Maybe you'll remember. It's a movie
Tell me.
with Zach Galifianakis and a movie with Robert Downey Jr. where they're going across the
Oh
country.
yes, Due Date.
Yes, thank you.
There you go.
Dude, Danny McBride played the fucking dude in a wheelchair in the fucking in
That's
the
right. He was in
store.
the cash place.
Yeah, and like, and he's like, when he fucking beats the shit out of Zach Galifianakis and shit, and then he's singing that fucking closing time song, and it's like
Yeah.
closing time. He's like, time to go to Chili's and fucking like and chill with my boys.
Oh God. I think it's so funny that those movies always mention Chili's or Applebee's.
It's
Oh,
fucking
let me just
awesome.
say this about
Product placement.
what's his name? No, the main
McBride.
actor from yeah, McBride, Danny McBride, is that he has eyes like Billie Eilish. They're the eyes that are always half closed. It looks like he's just fucking bored with everyone. And I love those eyes. I don't know what it is. It's like I'm fucking bored with all of you eyes.
Yeah, he's got a very
I,
like
he's got a
dead.
face. He's got a face
Yeah,
on him.
yeah.
He's a good face
His
actor.
delivery is fucking incredible. Like the way that he like will kind of like point at something in the room and then just kind of riff on, like, I mean, he'll just be like, hey, are those your golf clubs? And you'd be like, yeah, and you just like drive into him and shit. Like he's like a total fucking asshole. Like, and it's so amazing because his character is flawed until the bitter end of the fucking show. Like he does,
Yeah.
there is no fucking, I mean, there's redemption, but he's still a piece of shit.
He's a miserable cunt.
Yeah.
And then I love when you can still just love a character even though he's just a miserable
Yeah,
asshole.
it's excellent. Dude, the ending of the third season was so fucking bizarre. It made me feel like they didn't know if they were going to get renewed because it ended, I don't want to ruin it for you, but it ended so fucking strangely that I was like, what the fuck? Like I was like, I could not fucking believe what I just watched. And I'm like,
It could be.
okay,
It could be that they didn't know.
it had to have been because like he I don't want to ruin it. We should talk about
Go
it, but I
ahead,
don't want to
sir.
ruin
Go
it.
ahead. No, go ahead.
So
Spoilers for
at the end
anyone
of
who
the third
doesn't.
season, he like the big thing about him was like he wants to get back into baseball, right? So
That's
he's
right.
pitching in the
Yes.
minors and like he finally gets his shot and he's in Texas. He's in front of all the fucking in front of all the whole stadium and he's got this guy with 2 strikes and he's ready to fucking just totally strike this guy out and win the game and he drops the ball on the ground and he walks off the field and he's like fuck this, right? So
What an asshole.
and he goes back to his wife, right? Because he's like, yo, he realizes that like no matter how much he achieves, he's not happy. And then he realizes that he gets happiness with his wife. And he is going back to his wife. He's in the fucking minivan driving back to his wife. He's drinking. The minivan swerves off the side of the road, ravines off a fucking cliff, and smashes into the ground and explodes. And he dies. Okay. And you're
What?
sitting there going like, what the fuck? Like this guy finally had a moment of clarity, drives off a fucking, has an accident and is dead. They literally buried him. Okay. He was dead. And then he shows up the next season at the fucking doorstep of his wife, or his girlfriend at the time, um, with like blonde hair and shit, and he like faked his death.
What the
But
fuck?
what makes it so fucking, why I know that they didn't know that whether or not they were coming back was the very next episode he's working at like a fucking enterprise rental, like a car rental place, like nothing fucking happened. So like he basically like survived. He
Yeah.
was hiding out and came back into the real world, and like then it just picks up right where he
Yeah.
left off, being a piece of
I'm
shit.
pretty sure they do fucking background checks on people who work at enterprise
Yeah.
car
Yeah,
rentals.
he apparently like went to prison for a stint of time for like
Oh,
fucking
really?
yeah, it was like it was so shoehorned in, dude. That's how you know
Oh,
like they
shit.
weren't anticipating coming back. But like yeah, and then he's like he for like fucking life insurance fraud and shit. Like they were it was so
That's
bizarre.
funny.
Yeah, his brother like
I wonder if they
resented
did.
him.
I'll have to research that
Yeah,
because that
it
sounds
was
like a
it's so obvious.
a
Yeah.
miserable ending, like a BoJack Horseman ending, where it's
Yeah.
fucking
I
no
love
matter
that show,
what, like
man. A lot of people don't
you're
like
not
that
gonna get a
show, dog.
happy ending.
A lot of people don't like
I
that
think
show. I actually think BoJack is great. He's flawed as fuck. I love him.
because he's flawed. Because
Yeah.
he's flawed, and it doesn't give you a happy ending. Like
Yeah.
he's fucking miserable too.
That
He's
show is
miserable no
melancholy
matter
as
what.
fuck. That show is so
It is.
melancholy. It's great though. Everybody around him is a piece of shit too. Like
Yeah.
it's so fucking like
Even the
interesting.
people who are nicest to him still use him in a
Yeah.
way. They
Yeah.
still
Actually, but dude,
use
that's
him.
it's funny is like Eastbound and Down kind of touches upon that, right? Where you ever watch Party Down?
I haven't, but I
All
heard
right,
that it
Party
came
the guy
back for
from
another
Party Down,
season.
I can't remember the guy's name. He's in Eastbound and Down. He's in the
Um,
last season. Um
uh,
he
Adam Driver, or not
no,
Adam
no, not
Driver.
Adam
What is
Scott.
it?
The
Not Adam Scott.
no, the other
Okay.
guy, the guy with the dark hair who was in fuck.
Oh, is he the one with the glasses
Let me look it up
was in?
actually. I'm gonna look it up because like
Kind
it's
of looks like Hassan Abi. It's what's his name? Shoot.
his name you know what he was in? He was in Role Models too. He played the nerd kid's stepdad.
Oh, I know who you're talking
Yeah, it's like a
about.
real
I don't
fucking
remember his name, but he's I think he's like a right. He was in the Milo thing in the movie
his name
Milo
is
with
Ken
the
Marino.
monster. Ken Marino, yeah,
Yeah.
he's really popular. I
Dude,
think he's a writer slash director
he was
too.
in Eastbound and Down in the last season, and he is like using Kenny on a level that like is really sick, and it really shows the sickness of the industry and how like
Yeah,
nasty it
and
is.
see, I can't. This is why I can't watch those because those make me uncomfortable when people use
Yeah,
people in such a manner that makes me uncomfortable. But
one hundred
probably a good
percent.
show because of that.
I think another really good example of that was in what was that? What's that fucking ice skating movie with Will Ferrell where he just drops the kid off in the fucking middle of the road?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Um, I
Fuck,
do
man.
remember it. It's with the guy from Napoleon Dynamite,
Yeah.
but I'm not remembering the name.
The name of the movie is
Uh,
like it's like
Fire something?
Blades of Steel.
Blades of Steel. Blades of
Yeah,
Steel. I think that, or
dude.
Blades of Glory.
Blades of
Is it Blades
Glory.
of Steel or
Blades
Blades
of
of Glory?
Glory.
That sounds right.
Blades of Steel was a hockey game for the NES. Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Blades of fucking we're old,
So
old
like
as
so
shit.
fucking Blades of Glory, literally John Heater, I think his name is, they fucking
John Hammond,
dropped
yeah.
this fucking kid off in the middle of nowhere once the guy realized he was of no value. like
He's just an
holy
asshole.
shit. Like it was really fucked up.
I kind of like that movie. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I remember watching it and I liked it.
That movie's a piece
I
of
thought it
shit.
was funny. It probably is. I'm sure if I watch it again, I'm like, oh my god.
Semi-Pro
Will
is another
Ferrell.
piece of shit, man.
Yeah, I didn't like Semi Pro, although I
Yeah.
don't really like. Well, no, I shouldn't say that I don't like sports movies because there's a lot of older sports movies
I
like
fucking love sports
Unnecessary
movies too. I'll be
Roughness
the
that
first
yeah,
one to tell you
Major
I
League,
oh my
Unnecessary
god.
Roughness. I like those
Dude, I could
movies.
literally recite every fucking line in Major League. I must have seen Major League at least 50 times in my life, no lie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those are good
it
movies.
is a good fucking movie. Well, I used to play
Those are
baseball when I was a kid, so like it was pretty popular when I was younger. But like
those are movies
for
that I
Little League,
haven't heard people talk about in a while. Like, do you see anybody talking about Major League? I never really
no, because they
hear
made
anybody
fucking
talk
like
about it.
it went the way of Police Academy. They made like fucking
And
4
they
major
did.
leagues.
I'll agree with that.
They made
I
a
think I like
bunch.
the
There was
first
like major
and
leagues
second.
back to the minors. There was like major league like in space. There was like it was fucked up.
That's
Like
right.
they made a lot of them.
Didn't they replace Wesley Snipes in one of them, but I don't know if it was the second or the third one
It
where they
was
replaced
I
Wesley
think it was
Snipes.
the third one. You're talking about Willie Mays Hayes, the guy.
Yeah,
The fuck, yeah,
they
yeah,
replaced him completely, like with a
yeah,
completely different guy.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. They just like, oh, it's a different black guy, but it's the same character.
Yeah, they all look alike.
Dude, it's fucked
Racist
up.
motherfuckers.
Like, let me see. Who's the guy? Oh my god, the dude that played the manager. Um,
Oh, the
just
manager I don't know, but
total
Tom
classic.
Berenger's in it.
His name
Wesley
is
Snipes
Corbin
is in it.
Burnson. Oh no,
Oh,
wait, no, wait. Is
Corbin
that him? That's
Burnson,
not
yes.
him.
No, Corbin Burnson is the
He's
uptight a guy
yeah, he's Roger Dorn.
who Roger Dorn. There you go. So you
Yeah,
know the names. I
it
don't
was
know the
Charles
names.
Cyphers, I think is the dude's name.
Okay.
Like he's like, you may
That guy
run
must have
like
died
Ace,
like
but you
5
hit
years
like
ago.
shit. Every time I see you hit swinging for the fence, you gotta drop and give me 20. Like,
I could
fucking,
like when you see him on screen, you could smell the alcohol coming out of your TV because you could tell that guy was fucking drunk throughout the
dude, you
entire
know
movie.
who was like a fucking total drunk like 100% of the time? Oh, what the fuck? Let me look the guy's name up, man. I
What
can't believe I
movie
can't
is he
remember. The
in?
guy's been in fucking literally everything. Um,
Are you talking about Brian Cox?
no,
Because
Brian Cox
Brian
is
Cox
fucking incredible.
he's incredible, but he's in fucking everything. He's in The Longest
I
Goodnight.
mean,
He's in
you might as
fucking X
well.
Men.
It might as well be
He's
Brian
in
Cox. The two of
everything.
them look almost identical.
He looks like he drank.
Rip Torn, Rip
Oh,
Torn,
Rip Torn. Oh yeah, Rip Torn
notorious,
is
notorious fucking drunk, like
I
absolute
loved him in
bum level
Dodgeball.
drunk.
He must have been drunk as fuck in
Yeah,
Dodgeball.
fucking. Oh my god. Yeah, and Men in Black, like fucking notorious fucking drunk.
In Dodgeball, he comes in when he first sees them, and he's like, "I love the smell of queef in the morning." It's just fucking completely insults them when he first sees them.
Oh man, but dude, if you I don't know if you watch a lot of drama television, but like I'm particular
No,
about my
normally.
drama. And if you haven't started
Too
watching
traumatized.
Succession yet, you need to get on that.
No, too traumatized. Like
It's
spousal abuse and parental
oh
abuse.
man.
Like I can't watch those. Oh, and child abuse. I can't watch child
No,
abuse
it's not
movies.
so much child abuse. It's this is like
It's but
amazing.
it's parental abuse.
Yeah,
It
it's really fucked
fucking
up.
makes
It's pretty
treats
fucked up.
my shit.
Dude,
I've seen a couple of clips
the
where I'm like, God
relationships are
damn.
so cold, dog, that like that my wife tells me like you're different when you watch the show because I get fucking depressed and angry because like the people are so fucked up, but the show is so
Yeah,
good, man.
I heard it's amazing.
Yeah.
I've never watched it. I'm behind on a lot. I should have been watching new movies this week and I didn't watch anything new. But I
I
want to
am
do
dying, man. I am so sick and tired of the fucking I want comic book movies to just go away, man. I'm fucking tired of superhero movies and like I really want
yeah,
some
look,
original shit, man.
well, you know what? Renfield should be available to stream in your sense of the word. But
Okay.
Renfield is out, and I think you'll like that. It's Nicolas Cage at his best, and it's schlocky. It's got a ton of blood and gore. I haven't watched it. I
That
spoil
did you see the
everything that I
trailer?
watch because yeah, I've watched trailers, I watch reviews because I
I
love to
saw the trailer in the
destroy
movies and
everything.
I turned to my wife and I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
It's I heard it's good. I heard it's good. It's not great, but it is Nicolas Cage at his best. It's not Willy's Wonderland. More
I like
along
Willy's
the
Wonderland.
lines of.
I'll fucking defend it to the death, bro.
Well, wait, you said you love Mandy though. I thought you loved
No, I it
Mandy
was the
more.
other way around. I hate
Oh,
Mandy.
really?
Mandy
That's
was a
so
piece
funny
of shit.
because most people hate Mandy, or excuse me, most people love Mandy, but hate Willy's
That's
Wonderland.
because
And
most
you have
people fucking are lacking brain cells. Mandy was awful, and like Willy's Wonderland was
people
fucking
fucking
crazy.
love Mandy. I think everybody can agree that Pig was good, but
You know what?
people fucking love
Haven't
Mandy.
seen it, and
I haven't seen it
I
either.
have it, but like I'm waiting to see it. And it's so funny. We were just talking. I watched what's his name was Pauly Shore was on Rogan,
Oh, was it? Okay.
and yeah, and they were talking about because he lived next door to Nicolas Cage, right? So
Oh,
like
really?
yeah, Pauly
That
Shore,
is
and
so
he's talking
wild.
about hanging out with Pauly Shore and Nicolas Cage hang out, they're friends, and
Oh, cool.
but but Nicolas Cage hates social media. So the first time they hung out, they were like, basically, he's like, Paulie, don't fucking take pictures of me and put them on the web, right? What we do in private is
Oh,
private. But he said like he'll roll up in like a $900,000 fucking Ferrari and shit, and be like, get in, and like they'll go.
see
And
that.
dude, Nicolas Cage told Paulie Shore that his favorite movie that he's ever done was Pig.
Really?
Yeah,
I can see that. I mean,
yeah,
again, I'm a hypocrite like you. I haven't watched the movie,
yeah.
even
I haven't
though
seen it.
I'm telling other people that it's good. But look, I'm one of these people that watch reviews a lot, and I
Oh,
just like to
dude,
see what
what was that
people's
fucking movie?
reviews
I recommended you to watch this fucking movie. I want to say 2 years ago, man. That's how long ago it was. It was. Oh my god, I gotta look it up. Hold on. Um, it was fucking awesome,
are. Is it
and
a Nicolas
it was a
Cage movie?
Nicolas Cage movie. He does so many fucking movies that it was
Well,
like,
there's
oh my god.
Pig, there's Willy's
Oh, it was
Wonderland,
it was
there's
it was Color Out of Space.
oh, I haven't seen
It
that
came
one
out in
yet.
2019. Dude,
I've heard of
that
it though.
movie's
I have
fucking
heard of
cool,
it.
man. I
Yeah,
dig that movie.
heard
Yeah,
of it.
that movie is
I've watched
very cool.
a lot of Nicolas Cage's movies. The one where he's a warlord, is it War Dogs
Wait, the one where
Lord of Wars?
Lord of
Sorry,
War.
Lord.
Yeah,
I haven't watched that one, and I heard that's one of his best movies.
he
And
does a lot of shit. Like I'm looking at his IMDb right now. It is ungodly amount of shit that it's in here.
got to pay that fucking Ferrari off.
Yeah,
He's
he's
driving around in
he's
Ferraris,
the
and
Wicker Man.
he buys. I think he's got like a fucking dinosaur skull or some shit like that.
I
He
mean,
bought for like
it
millions of
is
dollars.
it is fucking
He's
crazy.
eccentric.
And you know
He's
what? It's funny. It's like because I've heard about this too. I don't remember originally where I read it, but he's related to Francis Ford Coppola, right? And when he was on the
oh yeah.
set of, I can't remember what set it was. Um, he felt like he was getting treated differently because he was like related to Francis Ford Coppola, so he changed his name to Nick Cage. And
Oh,
like, you know who else is too? Fuck, not Nick Swartzen. Nick Swartzen's the comedian. Jason Schwartzman.
oh, Jason
He's
Schwartz.
he's also a Coppola.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
yeah. It's like
interesting.
his father's
He's in a lot of
brother.
what's his name's movies, Wes Anderson movies.
Yeah, he's
In a
fucking
lot of those.
dude. Jason Schwartzman. Do you remember like what movie was that where he's singing that fucking song on the piano? Do you remember? Like I
Oh,
love you, but I hate
that's right.
you. Was that
Was it Mount
was that
Rushmore? What?
Slackers?
Maybe. I know he was in Mount
I
Rushmore.
think it was
Uh,
Slackers, bro. I do. I think it was Slackers.
can't remember. He is in a lot of
And it
movies.
was the kid from Final Destination, if I'm not mistaken.
Devin
Ironically,
Sawa.
Devin
That's the
Sawa.
kid from. Yeah, he's the
Yeah,
one from
100%.
Final
Yeah, it's
Destination.
Slackers, dude.
Devin
It's
Sawa.
Slackers. This movie came out in 2002.
Oh, Slackers.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right. I
yeah.
don't remember that movie. I mean, I remember it
He
now
was
that you mention
fucking
it,
wait.
but I don't
He was
remember.
quote cool Ethan.
Oh, that's right. Cool,
Yeah,
Ethan. Holy fuck. I
yeah.
haven't seen
That's
that
that's a
movie in
movie
so
that I
long.
think would. I'm wondering how that would age. I watched Van Wilder, right? One of my
Oh,
videos,
really? How did
I
that
use
age?
like the fucking like it's the first time in my life I'm glad I'm deaf, right? Like in one of my videos, and
Yeah.
it sparked me to fucking go back and watch. I was like, I can't. It's not fucking funny anymore, dude.
Oh, really?
It is not. It
And
does not hold up, man. I loved that movie for a really long time. I think the time period it came out, it was really fucking good. But like, it does not hold up. And you know what's weird too? It's like those comedy movies that would just stand the test of time. For some reason, I just can't watch it. I don't know, man.
it's tough. I mean, I watched Grandma's Boy the other day, and I still like the
Oh,
movie.
I love
It
it.
still has a special place in my heart because of it. But
Yeah.
there's a lot that falls flat in the movie where I'm like, ooh, I'm like that.
Did
That
you have? When was the
wasn't as
last time
funny
you
as
saw
the
Nick
other.
Swartzen,
And that's it because I
dude?
refuse to watch the movie.
Oh,
What's his name?
Bucky something,
Bucky
whatever.
Larson.
That's like the
I
worst movie
refuse.
ever
I
made.
will
You
not
know.
watch that. I'd rather wear skinny jeans than to watch
I
that.
would
And
say that.
I don't wear skinny jeans either, but
I would say Bucky Larson ranks probably one of the worst movies ever made, next to The Room.
really,
Yeah,
god damn,
100%.
dude.
It is a fucking terrible movie, and
Yeah, that's bad.
it is bad. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I know that like Sandler catches a lot of shit for all of his later movies, but like that movie
He
was
does.
hella bad. You know what movie was exponentially better than that? The Benchwarmers with Rob
Yeah,
Schneider.
that was good.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it in a while, but I
yeah.
enjoyed that
They
movie.
came out
I
around
wouldn't
the
watch
same
it again,
time.
but I enjoyed it. Yeah.
But yeah, Nick
I
Swartzen is, I don't know what the
all I
fuck
know
happened
is
to him, dude. Like he looks like
yeah,
he gained
he
about 200 fucking pounds.
he's a drinker. Like from when
Yeah, he
when
was
you
going through rehab. He
listen
had
to
a
people
coke
like
habit, dude.
yeah,
Like
when
a
you
big
listen to
one.
people like Norm Macdonald talk and they, those guys hang out and stuff, like
Yeah.
they always are constantly meeting up at the fucking bar.
Oh
Like
yeah. Yeah.
every single one of Norm Macdonald's and Nick Schwartz and all those guys' stories always start with like we met up at the fucking bar.
Yeah.
So yeah, there I can see them being alcoholics.
He was fucking cool. Like I think he had a lot of potential too.
He
And
did. I thought he was gonna take off. I
yeah.
thought he was gonna take off because I thought he was a standout from Grandma's Boy. Like he really,
They were trying
I
to
mean,
do
he did
that gay
better than
robot
Adam
thing. Do you remember
Sandler.
Gay Robot?
That's right. And I thought
Yeah.
that was funny. I thought that could have taken off, but
That they actually did I remember it was the audio bit that they did on the Sandler CD. But then there was also they made that pilot. It was like a 10-minute pilot with an actual
yeah,
fucking robot that
that's
was
right.
like gay.
I've seen it, and it's
It's
funny. And
hilarious.
I think Bucky Larson broke him. I
Oh
would
yeah, yeah.
imagine that, like Bucky Larson, the reviews and everything came out, and then
Yeah.
he just immediately like,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
and
trying to
there's that.
think. He would always play like supporting or cameos like in Sandler stuff. Like I like
That's right.
oh, what was that movie when Sandler started to get serious? He did
Well, there's a
Click.
couple.
Click was like
Yeah,
his
there's a
first.
couple. There's Click, there's
Yeah.
Grown Ups.
Yeah.
Grown Ups, I would say that it's more serious than slapstick. Although I would also call Grown Ups like you Adam Sandler just filming his fucking vacation and getting paid for it.
Dude, do you know the
It's
story
basically
about
Grown
that? It's
Ups.
fucking hilarious. So
No, I don't actually. I
David
know. I've never
Spade,
seen the movie.
they don't hide the fact that it is just making movies with their friends.
It's
But like
cash. They're yeah. It's a Ponzi scheme, and Adam
Sandler
Sandler's at the
is
top, and then his
Sandler's one of the
friends are at
nicest guys like ever, and he takes care of all of his friends. And
the.
after they filmed Grown Ups, he bought all of the guy David Spade, Chris Rock, all those dudes a Maserati, right? And
It's
the story is really funny. It's like David Spade, all of a sudden, there's like a tow truck dropping off a fucking Maserati in David Spade's driveway, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And he goes out. He's like, "Oh yeah, I was told to bring you here." So he goes, "Oh, I guess like Sandler, like." Like wants to fucking like I guess just hold his Maserati here, right? He didn't know what was going on. He realized that like um so actually no, I'm sorry. It was fucking so he calls Rock. He calls Chris Rock and he's like, "Yo man."
Chris Rock, right?
Yeah, so Chris Rock I think might have called Spade. And Chris Rock did it where like he was like, "Oh man," he's like, "Oh yeah, dude, he did that to me too." He was like he dropped the Maserati off in my driveway and Chris Rock was like, "A Maserati." He was like, "I got a fucking Accord." Right? So like he was fucking with Spade. Like I totally like obviously like the story is so much better when David Spade tells it, but like yeah, dude,
He's a
he
funny dude.
takes care of all of his friends, man.
Yeah.
Like he
You
really
know,
does.
he had a show on Comedy Central, David Spade, and
I like
he
him.
just sat and he would talk with
Yeah, he's
comedians,
great, man.
and they would talk about like pop culture stuff,
Yeah, David
entertainment
Spade
news, and
show.
it was really good. It was really good, and unfortunately, just nobody watched it,
Well,
and
the
that's probably
pandemic happened
Comedy
too,
Central's
and
fault.
he was trying to do
Well,
it during the pandemic.
yeah, and now I think he does home stuff. He's still really funny.
He's fucking
I,
great.
I mean,
He's
I could
classic.
say bad things about Adam Sandler. I think Adam Sandler, most of his movies are awful. My dad was pissed off at the last Adam Sandler movie that's on Netflix, the one with him and Jennifer Aniston. I can't
Oh
remember the name of
man,
it.
dude, I
It's like
can't.
it's like the second part of another movie that they went together on. But my
I
dad
can't do it,
called me
man.
up and he was like, "What a piece of shit!" My dad, who fucking
I
loves
can't.
like schlock movie, he loves fucking Reacher and shit, and he told me that that movie was the biggest piece of shit he's ever seen. And I was like, God damn.
I remember.
If I off.
I remember. I went to go see. Oh my god, something like
Was
you.
it Pixels?
No, no, oh my god, no. Right, like Pixels is garbage. It was way before that. It was like you can't kill the Zohan.
Oh yeah.
I think it
Uh,
was you can't kill the Zohan. That movie
you don't
is
mess with the Zohan, is it?
classic. That movie is
You know
fucking
what?
hilarious.
I'm gonna 100% agree with you. And there's a shitload of fucking racial tropes in there that
Yeah,
when you rewatch it,
it's
like, ooh,
it's pretty
like
fucking it's pretty fucking spicy,
but
dude.
it's funny.
It's
It's
pretty
funny.
spicy. It is.
I
It's
Well,
spicy as fuck.
well, I would say that the second half of the movie kind of drops off, and there's less funny parts. But that first half of the movie, where he's like trying to find this place, and he goes to
Yeah.
America, funny as hell,
Yeah.
man.
Or when he's doing the dick push-ups, like that shit's
The
hilarious.
dick
Like
push-ups
he's
when he fucks Nick Schwartzen's mom,
yeah.
and they show her
Yeah.
ass and everything.
Yeah.
Huge ass, Jesus, tan too. I was like, God damn, she's got a
Dude,
tan
do you
ass.
remember I remember when you had watched it before me, but I had fucking immediately pinged you the moment that the fucking I watched the scene. I was in tears laughing so fucking hard. So I said, I think I messaged you and I was like, yo, I saw like Brothers Grimsey and like
Oh
and
yeah,
you were like the elephant scene. And I was
the
like,
elephant.
yes, or the rhino. I was fucking dying. And if anybody's watching a stream right now and you haven't seen the brother, my brother Scrimsy or whatever, with fucking what's his name, with
I think it's Mark Strong is his name.
is
He's
it
a
no?
British
It's
actor.
Ali. It's fucking what's his name?
Well, no,
Fucking
no, no. That's Sacha Baron
Sacha
Cohen.
Baron Cohen.
Um, but Mark Strong is the guy who's the
Yeah. Oh
more
yeah. 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 Yeah.
he's the guy. I believe
He's
he's
literally sitting
Merlin.
inside of like a fake
And
rhino or a fake elephant or whatever, and another elephant mounts it, and you see the dick and balls and all, dude. It is so fucking bizarre. I don't know how the fuck they shot that. Like I kept rewinding it, looking about how they shot it, and I'm like, this is the fucking strangest scene. Like, how the fuck did they pull this off?
takes that it take before they stop laughing. Because if I was in that position for the first fucking hour, I would be laughing at a
Yes,
fucking dick and
it's tough.
balls coming
Like the
through
amount of
your face.
outtakes must have been insane. Like we were talking about
And
Eastbound
Mark,
and Down. I don't want to go back to it, but like there's parts in where Will Farrell plays this car salesman. Like he owns like a
oh, I've
series of
seen the
cars.
outtakes.
Dude, they're
I
fucking
think
hilarious.
they are
Where
absolutely
he's
the
like, I
thing where he's
feel
like
it.
my
Yeah,
plums
I feel it down in my
is
plums.
uh,
Like, and then like you see everybody's faces around them, and you could tell that they're trying to hold their laughter, man.
yep.
Yeah,
I've watched the that's funny because I've never watched or I've watched the first season of the show, but I've watched all of those outtakes with Will Ferrell.
yeah.
Between Will Ferrell and what's the African American guy who's also in it?
I can never remember
He's
his
in the
name, but he's the dude that was
he's
in
in the
Hot Tub
office.
Time Machine.
That's right. He's in Hot Tub Time Machine.
He
I
was in The
feel bad
Office.
that I don't
Yeah,
know his name. But it was
you
when
look him up.
he's staring him down,
Yeah,
and dude,
and
there's
they're
some
looking at each
really
other's face while he's saying that, and you could tell this dude is trying not to laugh. Oh, his name is Craig
if you
Robinson.
Craig Robinson. If you haven't seen the outtakes, I've watched all of them on YouTube. Even though I haven't watched the show,
Yeah,
the outtakes are funny, so funny.
he is. Dude, Will Ferrell, like, he doesn't do it. I mean, he produces a lot of shit now. Him and fucking McKay, they're all like,
Yeah,
they're always doing shit together. And like, I actually, to be honest, I'm pretty sure he's executive producer on Succession. Ironically,
really,
yeah,
which is
him and
nuts.
Adam McKay. Adam McKay, I think, is involved in that too.
Well, look, Ben Stiller is the fucking executive producer of the Apple show that you love, the one with
Oh,
Adam Scott,
yeah, the
um,
fucking Severance.
Severance.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I
not a big
haven't
fan of
watched it.
Apple streaming, obviously, but like that
I
show
heard
hit
it's
me
very
right in the
good.
feels, bro. That show is excellent.
I heard it's good. I
I
haven't watched
like
it
I
yet.
you know I like that weird kind of shit though. Like
It looks
I
like
oh dude,
it
that's
looks
what I
like
wanted. I did take notes, right? Like a fucking old man in my notebook.
uh,
Hold on one second.
this.
There was something I wrote it down earlier in the week, and there was something that I told you that you have to fucking see because we have to discuss it. Whoever's
Oh,
watching
okay.
this, if you haven't seen the movie Primer, you need to see it.
Oh, I've
Okay.
heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
I've watched this movie I think twice, right? And I still don't fucking understand it. Okay, it's one of those movies where you have to watch it multiple times, but you have to do this for homework. This is a 2004 fucking movie that came out. It's an hour and 17 minutes. It's a super independent movie. It is not.
Is this the time travel movie with the
Yes.
serial killer that goes back in
It's
time?
it's not a serial killer. That you're thinking about Predestination, not Predestination.
Oh,
It's Primer, dude. It's this guy. It's so weird because like my wife and I we get into these talks, long talks about the difference between time travel. Like you have your linear time travel, which would be more like Back to the Future or that type of writing style where you're doing linear. Primer exists in like cyclical time travel. So like it's a paradox. So like everything's
okay.
happening at the same time everything else is happening. So it's really mind-bending when you start to like really dissect the movie and see where it goes. But dude, You have to watch this movie. Like, I actually will send it to you if you're unable to get it, because this movie is kind of like obscure, and
Oh, okay.
I doubt any of the streaming services will have it because it's super
I,
indie. It came out in 2004. Like, it's old.
I'll
But
check and see. I mean,
dude,
it's a new
the movie
month,
is
so I got a ton of
fucking
streaming service.
awesome. Like, I
Yeah,
would say that the budget for this movie was probably $200,000.
I am. I
Like,
have no
I
problem
don't
with
even
that
think it was
because
fucking. I don't even think it broke a million.
yeah, I have no problem with
But the
that. I've
writing,
seen.
dude, the writing is fucking genius. Like, it's put together like Memento, man, where like you're
Oh yeah.
actually like, holy shit, this is like a total mind fuck. So like when you're looking at it from the editing perspective of Memento, and you're looking at it like this movie, it's amazing. So
Yeah,
definitely
I'll
check
have
it
to.
out.
You know, I have a bad habit of rewatching my comfort movies. They're called
Yeah,
my junk food movies. They're movies that I watch when I'm just having a shitty day or when I just don't want to think and I
yeah.
just want to put on a movie where I don't think. But I have to step away and get to the new movies because I got a fucking backlog of
Yo,
movies
pull
that
your
I need to
microphone
watch.
closer to your mouth. You're sounding far away.
Oh, I was saying that I've got a backlog of fucking movies that I need to get to, and yeah, I'm way behind. I'm way behind on everything.
The time travel movies, I would say, like the cyclical time travel movies, anything that involves a paradox is totally different from like what you would under. It's so like you have to pretty much unlearn everything you think you know about time travel when you're dealing with a movie that's like paradoxical.
That's fair. I mean,
Yeah.
I watched the one with Chris Pratt, and that's a weird one where time is only in a
Oh, you talking about the
certain age
fucking?
period.
You're talking about
Tomorrow War,
the
I
Tomorrow
think
War,
that's called.
dude. Did you notice
Yeah.
the gigantic gaping plot hole at the end?
Oh yeah.
Like,
Well,
holy
you know,
fuck! Like, they killed the queen or whatever. Like, everything that happened prior never would have happened, being that they
exactly.
killed the queen. It's a huge gaping fucking plot hole. Like, so
Yeah.
the whole movie, everything that they went through to get to the point where they can actually kill the queen, um, never would have happened because they killed the queen.
That's a one. You know what that movie is? That's a one-off movie, like
It
The
is, yeah.
Gray Man with
I didn't mind it, dude. Like, I don't know if you watched the show
No, no,
Terra
it's
Nova.
just entertaining.
Did you ever watch Terra Nova?
I never did. I
I was
never
a big
did.
fan of Terra Nova, but then again, like any of the cheap science fiction movies that were on, like, fucking,
Well, I watch Warehouse 13, so
yeah, dude,
I'm
no,
not
I
I'm
did
not
too,
against
and
cheap.
like that's,
Yeah, I'm not
I don't
against
think
cheap.
anybody fucking watches that.
No, not many. I had a
No,
crush on the girl, not the younger girl, the female agent.
what needs to be fucking remade, and I'm gonna say this to everybody watching because we have a bunch of people watching. If you are watching this and you like Terra Nova is pretty good, stop remaking fucking Marvel movies. Stop with the fucking shit. If you want to remake something, remake like what's a
Remake bad
good,
movies.
huh?
Remake movies that didn't do
Yeah, I
well.
think it was. I
Here's
can't.
here's an example of a movie. You want to remake a Marvel character or an action hero character?
Yeah,
Remake John Carter. The movie John Carter did horribly,
yeah, you're
and
right.
it had potential. You want to remake a movie? Remake that. Don't remake good movies. You know what it is? It's like if somebody repainted the Mona Lisa and did it with like a graffiti or 3D art and was like,
Yeah.
"Look, I repainted the Mona Lisa. Isn't it better because I did it with 3D art?" It's like, no,
Well,
the
the
Mona
issue is,
Lisa was already perfect.
well,
Leave it. Paint
Hollywood
something
would never
else.
take a chance, dude. Like all these, like there's no fucking way in hell. Just like with gaming, there's no way in hell that Hollywood or any studio is going to take a chance on a bust, right? John
Well, I
Carter
was
did fucking terrible when it came out, so they're never
it
going to want
did.
to remake it. So fucking
It
Spider-Man and
should.
Batman does great every fucking time they make one. So hell, let's just keep fucking making them. And I
I
agree
know.
with you. They need to fucking start thinking outside the
Yeah.
box and go back to some
And
shit.
and to be fair to those people, well, I don't want to be fair to them because they're greedy monsters. But when I
Yeah,
put myself in the shoes of a greedy monster, people keep going to see it. Like, look,
yeah,
the Evil Dead Rise movie is, well, let me not use Evil Dead Rise because Evil
yeah.
Dead
Don't
Rise is
because
not a
I haven't
remake.
seen it yet, and I
It
don't
takes
want it spoiled.
yeah, well, it's not a remake. It takes a place a day before the original Evil Dead. That's all I'll say. So it's
Yeah.
not a remake. So I can't use that. I'm trying to think of a remake that again is just it's not necessary if the original's good. RoboCop. I mean, RoboCop was remade.
Oh,
The
dude, same
original
thing
was
with Total
already good.
Recall.
Yeah, Total Recall. Again,
Yeah,
the original was good, and I get it because what they did with Total Recall is they said, okay, we're gonna make it more like the book. But
yeah.
you know what?
Who gives a
The
shit?
movie was already good. Leave it. Oh, Conan. Conan's another
Conan's
one.
another one. Yep,
I
Conan's an
mean,
excellent one.
Leave. There's so many awful movies that you can remake. Lawnmower Man.
Oh,
Remake that
dude,
fucking
no.
movie.
Fucking no. Hell no.
Whatever. What my you know my point. My point
Hell
is
no. Yo, you
remake the
you want to
bad
know a fucking
movies.
fun thing? I begged my mom to take me to the movies to see that because it had the
I
CGI
saw
in
it. I
it
remember
before
seeing it.
but when
Yeah.
I was first getting into CGI back in the day, I begged my mom to take me to see fucking Lawnmower Man, and holy shit, I left
That's
that
not a
movie
kids
going
movie.
like, this is fucking terrible, right? Like,
That's not a kids movie.
I felt bad for
Can
my
I
mom. Like, my mom had to fucking sit through that shit.
can I tell you that in sixth grade, our school took us to see Encino Man at the movie theaters.
Dude, you know what's so fucking
In
strange?
sixth grade.
My first date that I ever had with like my fucking sixth grade girlfriend, right? Like, which is nothing, right? You just like hang out. It was like I met them at Strathmore, right? At the movie theater in
At
Strathmore.
movie theater.
Um,
It's a good movie
we
theater.
went in. I saw Encino Man, and then I was like, "Okay, bye," and I left. Right, see you in school tomorrow. Right, like it was just like hanging out after school. It was like, and then she dumped me. So like,
Damn.
there you go. But
Short
yeah,
rounds
yo,
in that
Encino Man
movie.
was great.
It was
That's
a great movie.
it is.
It's a
It
feel
is.
good fun movie. It's just a fun movie.
Dude, where's hold on. The fucking who who plays the bully in that? It's so
Oh,
good, dude.
yeah, he's the guy.
He's fucking awesome. Like I love when like
He's the guy who's the shush. He's like
yeah,
shush.
shush, right? Like he's such a fucking douchebag.
I
Um
can't remember his name.
he
He kind of looks
is
like Jason Priestley, but it's not Jason Priestley. But he kind of looks like him.
oh my god. It's I'm gonna say it's this guy. It's Michael DeLuce.
Michael DeLuce.
I think yeah,
Okay.
it is him. It's Deluce, Deluce, I guess. Michael Deluce. Anyway, what he literally like invented that scene where like somebody will like come into the camera and just be like
Yeah, that's
when
right.
he's like looking at his girlfriend and like
That's
they're
right.
sharing a moment and then the douchebag's face just comes into the fucking frame and he's like
That's right.
yeah.
That's a good movie, man.
But
Good
dude,
actors
Brendan
in that movie.
Brendan
Everything.
Fraser again is like
Brendan
I know that
Fraser.
you haven't seen The Whale yet, right?
I haven't seen it yet. Everybody keeps talking about it, but
Dude,
don't worry. Brendan Fraser's got other movies coming down the pipeline, and I have seen Brendan Fraser. Well, not seen him, but he's in Doom Patrol, and I have watched the first two seasons of Doom Patrol.
he's
So,
an interesting
um,
character. I put like I guess like real life person. Like I look at Brendan Fraser and then I say, okay, here's a dude he's seen some shit, right? Like he's been through
yeah,
shit. Hollywood pretty much
he's been through a
forgot
lot.
about him. The Mummy kicks ass. I don't care what anybody says. The Mummies are
Oh
excellent
yeah.
movies. And
Again,
yeah,
another
he's
movie
great.
that was remade. There you go. We forgot about that one
Yeah,
too.
we
But The
did.
Mummy was remade by Tom
Well,
Cruise,
dude,
which is a great actor, and yet the movie failed.
it did
There
so
you go.
fucking badly. They were trying to they were originating the Universal monsters, man. That's the
That's right.
reason on
They were
why
going
that
to make
was,
an
and it flopped so
an
fucking hard that
entire
they were just like,
universe.
"Fuck it." Yeah, they were just
They
like, "Fuck
scrapped the
it."
whole fucking thing.
Yeah,
They scrapped the whole fucking thing.
which fucking
But
sucks
yeah, I mean,
because, dude, the Universal monsters are literally my favorite. So it's like
and
you,
Todd Cruise is a good actor. Right? I mean, he's a charismatic actor. He's entertaining. He
dude.
does his own
Yeah,
stunts. You always expect the best out of him. So that movie failed with him in it, and that should
that
tell you
and that
everything
should
you
tell you
need to know.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
that notorious fucking audio edit of him on the plane in the trailer.
That's
Holy
right.
shit. I'm like,
It's
oh
so
my
funny.
god, dude! Like, how do you fuck something up that bad? Like, how do
Yeah.
you get Tom Cruise and then you just fuck it up? Who directed that piece of shit? That I need to know. I don't
I
even
can't
know who the
remember.
fuck was
I
responsible for
The
that.
only other thing that I remember about that movie is that the girl from the Kingsman, the Secret Service, is in it, and that's it. She's the villain, but she's constantly in CGI. That was one of the reasons that movie was such shit.
Why
And
the
look,
fuck?
the original Mummy had CGI in it, but it didn't depend on it, and that is the difference, folks.
Yeah,
The original movies do not depend on the
I agree
CGI.
with that.
It,
I think
it's not a
practical and a
crutch
good
for them.
blend. Knowing when to use CGI and knowing when not to is the key.
And
And
there's a lot, and there's a lot in the original Mummy that the CGI looks very dated. But again, it's not much. and that's not the whole. It doesn't revolve around the movie, or the movie doesn't revolve around the CGI. And that's the
Do you
difference.
remember how fucking bad Dwayne Johnson looked in Scorpion King?
Oh my God. If you
That
rewatch it again, you see it and you just immediately put your hands in your head and you're just like,
it's
oh
fucking
God,
horrible, man.
it's awful.
Yeah, that's
But
like
it's the thing that started
Nightmare on
his
Elm
career.
Street 6 level bad. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's the movie that kickstarted his career. He's the first, I would say that he's the first truly, absolutely successful wrestler to movie star, because Hulk Hogan has jumped into some movies and Roddy Piper has been,
Well,
and Roddy
that's
Piper
his
was in
shtick.
one of the best movies ever, which is They Live. But again, like The Rock is truly the
I
end game for a
I
wrestler,
go in and
even
out
though
of
he's kind of
wrestling.
annoying.
I still go in and out of wrestling. So there's times where I kind of catch up and then I kind of go in and out of it. I don't watch it as I used to watch it all the time, but I'm going in and out of it. And one of the things that The Rock always fucking holds over everybody's heads when he's beefing with anybody, when he shows up in WWE, is that he paved the way for all of these guys to be able to do
He
that,
did.
like John Cena
He
and
did.
shit. And he's so
And
it's
John
true.
Cena is not far behind. I mean, look, John Cena
Uh,
is, yes, he's not,
mm,
but he's not
mm,
far behind.
he
I
will
know
never,
that you have
ever, ever
issues.
be more than a
I know,
supporting
I get
role.
it. Who's the other one? The guy from Guardians of the Galaxy. Was he a wrestler, or am I just making that up?
Yeah, Batista.
Um, Batista. Yeah, he was a wrestler as well, and
He's great.
he's another one that he's really branching out. If anything, I would
Well,
say
he's
that he's
fucking
about to
talented. I would actually say that dude is
Yeah,
talented. Yeah.
go ahead, say it. He's about to surpass The Rock in as far as like really talented roles,
He was
because I
in
mean he
the
was
new
in
Blade
Blade Runner
Runner.
2049.
Yeah.
Was The Rock in a fucking movie like Blade Runner 2049? No.
He was also he was in that Knock on the Cabin movie.
Yeah, that's
He was
right.
working with
He's been in a
Shyamalan.
lot of really
Yeah.
good movies. He's trying. He's trying.
Yeah. He's not a
That's
bad
the important
actor.
thing.
It's just he has a very specific dry delivery that you need to
He
use him
does.
for.
He's
It's
got that neck fat. It's like turkey fat. I just want to chew on it like a fucking beef jerky.
I know, right? But dude's fucking Diesel. Like he's I never really I wasn't a Batista fan when I watched the WWE, but like he was always just like there. Like I always
He
wanted to,
grew on me.
yeah, he's because
As
I
far as movie, I don't watch wrestling, but
like
he grew on me as a
Kurt
movie
Angle was
star.
another one. Like I never really liked Kurt Angle either. Like he I don't know, he was too much of and then Randy Orton, which was another one which everybody loved. That I liked Randy Orton. I thought he was cooler than Batista, but yeah, I do.
See,
I
that
still
was
go in
past
and out.
See, that was past my time. I think I
Yeah.
stopped right around, I would imagine, what's the generation? Is it X generation?
Oh, the
Um,
Attitude Era is when you stopped in.
the Attitude Era. I
Yeah.
think that's when I stopped. I stopped right around
Stopped
when
at
Razor Ramon and
yeah,
Kid, the Heartbreak Kid were feuding.
NWO.
I
You
think
got
I think that's when I
yeah.
stopped.
You have you know, you had the Attitude Era is probably still the best era, and it went into
Yeah,
this fucking
I
this horrible time for years after that, and then finally it's starting to pick up again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and in fact, I'll just correct myself and say that I didn't drop out before it got bad,
Yeah.
because it seems like the Attitude Era was the height. So I dropped out before it peaked.
I've always been
I
like I have always I mean I watched the WWE mainly Raw, right? But I transitioned to like I was more of a WCW guy at the time. And then now I'm into AEW, right? I don't watch WWE. AEW is like it's more New Japan wrestling. It's really
Oh,
cool.
okay.
And it's competing with WWE, right? There
Oh, really?
it's oh yeah, yeah. And yeah, it's more of like I've always been more of an offshoot kind of guy. Like WWE is amazing, and Vince McMahon knows what the fuck he's doing. But I've always been more attracted to like the smaller audiences type of stuff. I don't know if you know this. I was actually on the DVD for when CM Punk announced that he is going to the WWE from Ring of Honor.
Oh, really?
I'm in the
Huh.
fucking crowd on the
Oh, that's
DVD
awesome.
because I was at the Ring
That's
of Honor
amazing.
show, dude, that day that he announced it. And like my cousin Frank and me, we're in the fucking crowd, dude. Like it's crazy that we're in the DVD.
You gotta find like the official DVD of
I know,
that and
right?
keep
Like I'm
that.
like, yo, this is me.
Yeah.
Like this douchebag right here in the background.
I've been to a couple of wrestling matches and they are fun to attend, but
Yeah, they are.
uh yeah, I did. I fell out of it before it peaked.
Dude, you want to
Um
see a really good movie? check out The Wrestler if you haven't seen it.
I haven't,
That's
but
a fucking
I know who's in it.
tearjerker.
Yeah. What's his name's in it? The guy from Scream. Dewey. Uh, gosh. Oh no, no, no. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, you're
I'm
thinking
thinking. I'm thinking of the other wrestling movie that's like a
it's
comedy.
Mickey Rourke. Yeah,
You're thinking of Mickey Rourke, which is
yeah.
the serious drama. Sorry, I've got those two confused.
I would say The Wrestler is hands down one of the best movies of that time. Like it
Was it?
was 2000,
Mickey Rourke's face is
2007,
fuck.
2008 era, somewhere around there. But like, yeah, that was a really good one.
Yeah, I loved wrestling. I still vividly remember when what's his name Owen Hart when Owen Hart fell from the
Yeah,
skylight thing. Like I was watching that on pay-per-view and
yeah.
it cut and we didn't know what the fuck was going on, and then all of a
Everybody,
sudden we saw
eh,
him there on
yeah.
the ground, and then they
Everybody
took
was
him
like, "Is this all
away.
part of the show?" Like we
Yeah,
couldn't
and
tell
this
if it
was
was
before
theatrics.
and this was before the internet, so you
Yeah,
didn't know. You couldn't just go online and be
no,
like, "What the fuck happened?" Like this was before all that, so you didn't know
yeah.
what the hell was going on, and they
It's
didn't say
tragic.
anything till after.
Same
Yeah,
thing like Piper. Like I
that
love
was nuts.
Piper. Rest in peace, Piper. But like even my background on my channel, like I use They Live as like that
Yeah,
movie. It doesn't hold up. I don't know if you've seen
I think it still does. The message
the
holds up. I
message
think the
holds.
message
Yeah,
holds up.
that's what I
Yeah,
mean. But the movie
but you're right.
itself,
Like
like, doesn't.
yes,
It feels
there's
like a. It
flaws a
feels like
lot.
a Death Wish movie, right? Like
Yeah, the ending
it's
felt
dirty.
weird. It felt
It's
rushed.
gritty.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
but
gritty.
it's I'm kind of glad that they haven't remade that movie, and then a part of me kind of wants them to, but I want the right person to remake that movie. So maybe it's just better that they don't.
I
Maybe
think the
it's just
best
better
thing
that
about that is like if you're gonna take a piece of art like that, because it has a really strong message, and it's like the
there's
message
just
can
some
go
great
both
scenes too.
ways, right? Like that's the beauty of something like that that's not on the nose. It's like, well, is this representing like what's a really good fucking like The Matrix is like a really good example of that, where it's like, holy shit, The Matrix is like a genius movie when you really start to deconstruct it and look
Yeah,
at it from just a political, cultural message, and
it
like
is.
it's pretty amazing. And like I feel the same way about They Live for the time period, but I don't know. I watched it probably within I would say within the last 12 months. I think I revisited it it might have been like just over the new year, like or it was over last summer. I can't remember, but I did go back and watch it because I ended up getting a Blu-ray, and
Oh, really?
yeah, it was a dope copy.
Nice.
But it was like the message was strong as fuck, and Piper's so cool in that. But like, I feel like the last act of that movie just fucking falls apart. Like, I don't know
I,
why, but like,
I
it
feel
just
to me like it was rushed.
yeah,
Like they just were
yeah,
like,
it
let's
literally
wrap this
just
shit up.
ends, bro.
Yeah,
Like
like
on
they
the
find the
rooftop.
fucking satellite. He shoots the satellite with a fucking gun.
Yeah,
I think he just shoots it with a gun, and then that's it. Like
yeah,
everybody's fucking
I know.
exposed,
Yeah,
which is
and
crazy
you
because
knew that she was
there's a
gonna
big
betray
flaw with
you.
that.
Like you knew that she was gonna
Yeah,
betray you, and like,
those eyes, man, those beautiful fucking blue piercing eyes. They
is she?
right
She's the
into your
same woman that
soul.
was in Masters of the Universe, right?
She was Evil Lynn. She
Oh
was
yeah,
Evil Lynn.
yeah.
She's
God,
got those eyes, man.
what a
She
fucking
was
piece of
also
shit.
in Jeepers Keepers 3, but I
Which one was
would not
that?
recommend. It's a
Wait,
piece of shit movie. It is
I'm trying to
the
see. I
biggest
I
piece of
guarantee
shit.
you, I've seen it.
It's the one where they showed the truck in the beginning, and the truck can control itself, and then she's like an older woman in the movie, and then she does this thing where she can. It's a piece of shit. Do not watch Jeepers Creepers 3. Jeepers Creepers 2 is fun. That's a schlock movie, but Jeepers Creepers 3 is a fucking mess.
I don't think
And
I've
then
ever
there's a new
seen the third
reboot is
one.
an awful movie too.
I've never seen the third
That
one.
yeah. I watched the second one again because I remember hating the second one because it was inferior to the first one. But I liked the second one
I
as a
like the first one.
schlocky, you know, horror slasher movie.
I think if you take the first 15 minutes of the original Jeepers Creepers with the truck harassing Justin Long and his sister, like it's the best short
Yeah.
film. Like it works so
I
well.
really enjoyed that one. I
Yeah,
like that one from beginning to end.
I agree.
Even though in the beginning when I was younger and I saw that movie, I didn't like it. It's funny because now I like slower horror movies, but when I was younger, I wanted that shit to get to the point, get to the killing, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Do you
And
remember, were
now
you
I'm
with
the
me? Were
opposite.
you with? I know we around that time period we were fucking going to Regal like every other fucking day
Oh
because
yeah,
it was on the free. But like the were you with me when we saw Eyes Wide Shut?
I did. I fell asleep.
Oh yeah, dude,
Or I was falling
that
asleep
movie
during that
was,
movie.
that's a movie that I've actually retracted on because I
Did
I
Yeah, you
watched
saw
it
it again?
later on and I'm
Oh
like,
my
wow,
god,
this movie is fucking brilliant. And then
you're
like
brave
in the
because
movies though, I
I,
was like, holy shit, like because I was
dude, we
younger.
were so fucking bored
Whew,
during that
like
movie.
that movie was
I fell
hard to
asleep.
watch.
Well, we watched it after the movie closed, number one. And
Yeah,
number two, it was a long movie and it
yeah.
was boring. There's no action. So I remember I fell asleep
It
during
was
some
pretty
of it.
rough, man. And like I revisited that going forward, and like I was like, wow, this is actually like a pretty smart movie with a
Yeah.
strong
I
message.
remember, I still
Yeah.
remember watching The Matrix in the theater. I
Oh yeah.
remember seeing it and just fucking being blown away.
But let
I
me ask you a
remember this.
question. Let
Yeah,
me
good.
ask you like we know that Hollywood is completely creatively bankrupt in terms of like going back to the well and stuff, but do you think that like we're on a verge of seeing a collapse of Hollywood being that AI is going to
No,
basically be making movies?
I think there's going to be a transition. I think the transition is going to be AI generated movies. And um and there's another transition, and this is a good transition, and that is a transition from these gigantic big budget movies to the medium-sized budget movies with actual meat to the story,
Yeah.
because the past couple of movies like Evil Dead Rise, I think, had a really small budget. I want to say between 20 and 40 million. That's
Right.
pretty low, and
That's
it's
pretty low.
done phenomenal. There's another movie that recently came out that had between 20 and 40 million dollar budget that came out and made like 200 million.
Yeah.
So the studios are starting to shift. Doesn't mean that the movies are quality, but I think that medium-sized budget movies usually are better than the big budget CGI splooge fest. But we'll see. We'll see.
See, my
I don't
counter,
know
I
if this
agree
is
with that.
positive.
My counter to that is with what Warner Brothers is doing about like trying to make sure that they're keeping things out of streaming and into the theater tells me that
Yeah.
if they do go AI with small budgets, that's going to be stream central, right? That's
Well,
like nobody's going to
I
the
think they'll
movies to
still
see that.
you never know. I think they're gonna attempt to put them out in the theaters.
I know that like
But for
theaters
now,
are few and far. We have a couple theaters here. One of them is a piece of shit. The other one is pretty nice. But every time I go in there, it's just this utter sense of depression, right?
yeah,
Like I
they're more
used to
like roller
like going to
coasters
the
now.
theater, man, but holy shit, dude, the AMC
Well,
over
you know,
here is rough.
I think for people who can find a theater with a good amount of moviegoers who have a good attitude are good,
Yeah,
but
I don't.
I know the movie theaters where I live here
You had
are
mentioned it in your
awful.
last video when I was watching. I heard you say about like people turning their phones on and shit. Now we don't really
Ooh,
have that
yeah.
as much. I mean, occasionally I might get somebody who's bringing like a fucking infant to like John Wick,
Oh
but
yeah.
like I don't really get that type of shit where I am. But what I
Well,
do
you're
get
lucky.
is like a fucking completely mismanaged lobby. So when you walk in, the
Uh,
first thing is just you're fucking. It's nasty, right? Like the concession is a total disaster. So like it's
uh,
just a sense of depression. Like all the fucking light bulbs aren't on, right? Like
yeah.
the management
So
is
it's
so
dingy.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dingy.
Smells like wet mop.
Yeah,
Yeah. Fuck
yeah.
that.
And
It's
that's what I
nasty.
don't like is because like dude, I we have a nice setup here at the house and it's like for me to go to a movie takes me to want to support the movie or the movie needs to be theatrical like Top Gun Maverick or something like that.
Yeah. I'm conflicted on it because I can see some horror movies where
Yeah.
if you're with a group of people that all get scared and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
that's got to be fun. There's some comedy movies that I can see like going into a comedy where everybody's laughing and cracking up. I remember seeing a scary movie and that was nuts when we saw it. But I think if
Do
you
you
have the
remember when we went to see Something About Mary for the first fucking time?
oh yeah, that's right. Oh
Dude,
my
when
God, I
Ben
laughed
Stiller got
so
his dick caught in
fucking
a zipper
hard.
and they
Yeah.
chose to fucking show that quick cut of it, like I don't think
And
I've
that was
laughed so
rare
hard.
back in the day. Remember
Yeah.
that? That
That
was
shit was
full frontal
shock.
was rare.
Pure shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my point is if you have a good theater where you have a good crowd of people, then I say just go for it. But where I live, awful. awful, awful, awful.
And it
I
kind of
think some
sucks is
movies you can drown it out, but
we I get it that, it's like a lot of these theaters got subsidized during the pandemic and like they're on life support, and I know that like Hollywood really needs these in order for the box office to be successful, but it's like we're living in a time where streaming should be normal. Everybody pretty much got used to
yeah,
living during the pandemic. Like I am much more comfortable in my house than I am in the theater.
I
We
am
have a
too.
really nice setup. Like I have Atmos here, like it's nice, but like
Yeah,
I don't I like Evil Dead Rise. I want to go to the movies to see that just
yeah.
because I want to support the movie.
Yeah, and well, that could be a fun movie. That could be a movie where everybody in the theater sees a scene and they're all grossed out and like, "Oh God!"
Yeah.
Of course, I've seen two reviews from two top streamers. One of them being Red Letter Media, where they said they had a baby in the theater for fucking Evil Dead Rise, which is, I mean, look, I have a kid, and there's certain things that you have to go to places like restaurants and shit because you got to eat, but
Yeah.
you ain't got to watch that fucking movie. You don't have to watch a movie.
No.
Leave your kids at home. Don't go watch The Evil Dead with a fucking
I
baby.
had one
So,
in John Wick. I couldn't fucking believe it.
John Wick.
Yeah.
The fucking John Wick.
I
Like,
couldn't believe it.
watch it. Either watch it at home or
Yeah.
just watch it on a day where you don't have the fucking baby.
It's
But
also
don't
it's
take a
also a
baby to
fucking
John
like
Wick.
courtesy
Don't do
thing,
that.
man. It's like I as a person wouldn't bring my fucking kids to the movies because I wouldn't want to be put in a situation where I'm inconveniencing other people that paid money to see this
Well, it's
movie. It's a
those
courtesy
babies,
thing.
their ears are sensitive, and those fucking movie theaters are loud as shit. And you're
Yeah.
taking them to see John Wick, where there's nothing but gunshots
Dude,
going off.
yeah, and in just death, yeah.
Raise your head.
But yeah,
But
Evil Dead Rise, man.
exactly. I
I'm
was gonna
down with it.
say you should definitely watch that in the theater. I
What'd
think
they
that
say
you
about the
could have a
movie?
good experience.
I haven't watched it. I totally skipped
It's
that
good.
video because I want to see the movie first.
Yeah, I won't say anything about the movie except that it's good.
Nice.
It is a good movie, and it is not a remake. It takes place one day before the original Evil Dead, so
Have you seen the
that's all
original?
I'll
Have
give
you seen
away.
The Conjuring, the first Conjuring?
I've seen the first Conjuring, but I haven't seen the second or third.
All right, third one's terrible, but the
Good.
second one is the first Conjuring movie is one of the that is a
It's
favorite of
pretty
mine. I love
creepy.
that
It's
movie.
creepy. Yeah.
It was shot really well, and I'm excited for the next installment that they're doing.
It's a series.
Yeah,
Is it an
it's a guilty
anthology or is
pleasure,
it
I
just a
think.
series?
It's a series, yeah. But what's her name? Formiga or whatever her name is.
Vera
Like,
Farmiga.
yeah,
No, Farmiga.
she's pretty good. She was in Bates Motel, which I loved. Bates Motel on Netflix.
I've only watched one season, but the season that
It's
I watch, it's smart. It's smart. It's
fucking good,
creepy.
man.
The
It's
kid who
good.
plays Jason Bates,
Yeah,
he's creepy.
I like it just because of her. Like she is a sinister,
Yeah.
vindictive, smart, like sociopath,
I
and
remember the man that show. I'm not gonna spoil anything from that show because the first scene of the first episode starts off with a fucking bang.
wait, which
So
show?
I'll say of the Bates Motel.
Oh no, I
It's the
saw it.
scene where she. Yeah, that's what I'm saying
Yeah.
for anybody who's
Oh,
watching
okay.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't even want to ruin that first scene.
Yeah, I
But the
wouldn't.
one of the first scenes of the
It's a
or
biggie.
if not the first scene, the first episode.
First episode. Yeah.
First episode. Oh man, it starts off
Yeah.
with a fucking
Yeah.
punch. So get
Doesn't
ready
fuck
for that.
around. Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. She's really good, man. I like her and
she
everything
is.
she's in. And I don't know. I think that that has potential because I think that it would make a better after the third one, it would make a better show than it would a
Yeah.
film. But
Well,
the
it's
second one
I
wasn't as good, man. It was
no.
yeah, it's kind of like one of the, it wasn't bad, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, go. Ari Aster did Hereditary. How the fuck do you come back from that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you make Midsummer and it's nowhere. It's good, but it's not Hereditary, right? It's nowhere
Yeah.
close to being on that level. Yeah.
So I have to watch it just because I have to watch these movies just to say that I watched them. And but yeah, I haven't seen
I'm
the
pretty
other
particular.
I
I
haven't
mean, you know
seen
that.
I haven't seen what is it, Sinister, which I know I'm a little bit
Is that
embarrassed about.
Ethan
Oh
Hawke
no, I'm
movie,
sorry,
right?
not Sinister. although I haven't seen Sinister as well, so I'm a little bit embarrassed because I'm about to mention two big movies that are horror movies. Insidious. I haven't seen Insidious.
That's the Ethan Hawke one. That one
Uh,
actually is not bad. I actually watched both. I don't have a problem with either one of those, but I think that the trope of using the videotape, I think it was in Insidious, was a little tropey, but I like
what was
Ethan
it?
Hawke. I think he's great.
Yeah,
Um,
he's in the Black Phone.
yeah. The
I know. Did you like the
they
Black Phone?
just
I think
came
you
out
said
with
that
a
you were just
new, I
okay.
think it was called Insidious the Red Door,
Yes, it's a
which
new movie coming out, or
yeah,
is it a movie or series? I have no idea,
it's
but
a
it is
movie.
something.
Yeah.
It's a movie coming out. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it, but I need to watch. Again, I have a backlog. Like people have backlogs of video games that they need to play when they buy stuff on Steam for like $1
Yeah.
or Green
Oh,
Man
it
Gaming.
was dude, it was Sinister that was Ethan Hawke. My apologies.
Oh,
Like,
okay. Sinister
yeah,
is
yeah.
Ethan Hawke.
That's
Well,
the
I
one
haven't
with the
watched
tape.
either one, Sinister or Insidious, and they're both movies that, as a horror fan, you should watch.
Yeah.
So I
No,
might get
I
to
I
it.
approve of both. I don't think that they're bad movies. One thing I will say though is we canceled our Shutter subscription, man. Um it's fuck. Like I don't want to like offend anybody, but I don't care. Um they are getting like woke is an overused word, but like they're fucking, you got to be fucking kidding me, right?
I call it new age. It's like
Modern
it's
audience. Yeah.
yeah, modern on it. It's getting too modern,
But
like to the point where
it's
it's
not
almost
good
comical.
content. It's like it's written by fucking idiots. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
purposefully, the focus is on people's relationships and sexual preferences and not on writing a good script anymore. And like
yeah,
it sucks because like I'm a big fan of Creepshow. I still watch all the original Creep shows. Um and the show Creepshow is amazing, right? I like it. It's a little tropey and a little corny in places, but like it's super low budget, and Shutter is lucky to even have that. And I just feel
yeah.
like, yo, dude, if you're gonna keep producing shit, I watched a movie called The Cellar on fucking on Shutter, and holy fuck, the movie was so fucking bad that like it made me. The movie was so fucking bad that it made me cancel our subscription. That's how fucking bad it is.
Shutter is rough. I mean, they're trying, but it's
But you know what the
the
unfortunate
shows.
thing is? Do you remember Gamergate?
I
Gamergate came
do,
out
I
around the
do.
time that like I was pretty much full swing in the game industry, right? And Gamergate came out, and you had like all those journalists that were talking about underrepresentation or sexism, all that shit, right? And fucking, my wife was like a big advocate of like you journalists have no idea what the fuck you're talking about because she's a woman in games, and like my wife was super successful, right? She's excellent. She's the smartest person I know when it comes to the gaming industry, and she would always say like those journalists don't represent true feelings about women in the industry. And you know, it's like I always respected that. It's like I see the same similarities what's happening now. It's like indie games and like and all these like triple, and it leaked into AAA games, and like the industry was made. Now I'm noticing that this, I'll call it the woke culture if you want, is now leaking its way into low budget movies, and horror movies just happen to be low budget, and they're getting their agenda passed through low budget movies, which unfortunately is destroying the fucking horror industry now, and it's really upsetting me. And
Well, I would,
it sucks.
for me, it's just bad writing. It,
It
it
is. It's
it's
insanely bad
fine.
writing.
It's fine if you want to put gay characters, trans
Yeah, who
characters,
cares?
black characters.
Right.
I don't care about that. It and again, like
But
you don't even
it's
have
when
to
I'm going, hey
explain.
Charlie, hey Charlie, did you know that they're gay? Did you know they're fucking trans?
Yeah,
Hey
well,
Charlie, did
that's
you
what I
know?
was gonna say. Like, you don't have to explain it to me. Like, you don't have to be like,
Yeah, we don't care.
this person is like, you don't have to explain it to me. You don't have to. And look, I get that these people do go through struggles, but again, we are watching a movie. We are watching entertainment. I don't need to be reminded of that in every single movie,
Yeah,
because it would
I
be
agree.
kind of like if John McClane constantly was bitching about his fucking shitty marriage in all the Die Hard movies. Like it's
Yeah.
mentioned like once where he's like, the fucking marriage is falling apart, and then usually like at the end of the movie he calls his wife and tries to make up, and yet he still fucking ends up
But
being
that's the
divorced from
arc,
her.
right? That's
But
the
there you go.
arc,
But
and
there you
like
go. It's
it's
not like the whole
needless
fucking movie.
exposition.
Yeah,
Needless
my wife.
exposition. if you're going to do exposition that's going to run on forever, that's bad to begin with. But if you're going to do needless exposition where you're writing in needless sexual innuendos to point to the fact that these people may be trans or gay, it's pointless. Like, who cares? Like, we grew up in the 90s, right? Gen Z thinks that like these people are oppressed. We've had friends that were gay, we've had friends that were
Yeah.
had sexual, nobody cared. Like, it just
Well,
was.
I would say this. I would say that it did influence a bit, like when there was a lot of homophobia, but there's not now. But you don't need to go in the complete opposite direction.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
there's homophobia, and then there's like the anti-homophobia where you're fucking pouncing on people for being homophobic or even a little bit homophobic or
Right.
or just old school, and you don't need to just make normal movies.
I mean,
I
look.
mean, look at Dune. I mean, look,
Yeah, yeah,
Dune
Dune's a
has
good example.
Zendaya as Dune is another movie. Has Zendaya in it, and
But
she's
here's the
a
thing, right?
main character. She's black,
I want to
and
point
nobody
something out.
else in the thing is all black.
I want
It's
to point
fine.
something out, right? Revenge of the Nerds. Okay. Yes. Does it have questionable content in there? Sure. The panty raid scene is probably a little bit unnecessary.
No, no,
But
no. The rape scene is
oh yeah, where he tricks
unnecessary.
the chick into
Yeah,
thinking that it's her boyfriend,
it's
for
it's
sure.
rape.
It's
It's
rape,
rape.
right? There's no question. But you know what? It's like, I'm not gonna fucking sit here and try to pretend like that movie wasn't diverse, right? You had a
Yeah,
group of people who were part of a sorority, a black sorority, first of all, and you had a fucking character who like was part of their little clique who was black and gay, and nobody gave a fuck. As a matter of fact, Lamar is probably one of the best characters in Revenge of the Nerds, and they were all just a great. Like, you even have the Asian. Were they stereotypes? Sure, but like, stereotypes are real, right? Like, it's not like it's not racism. It's just part of life. Like,
well,
and
I was
it's typecast, sure, I guess in some ways, but look how different. Nobody was overtly racist. Nobody. It was just a mixture of people during that time period, especially because I think that movie came out in fucking like 1984. Where is it? Yeah, 84. And
yeah.
then you had a gay black guy in 1984. Kids today wouldn't even understand that. Nobody gave a
Well,
shit.
it was
Nobody
a gay
nobody was
black guy
up
who
in
was
arms over
overly
the fact that
gay and
Lamar was
black.
gay. Nobody
Well,
cared.
I think it was more along the lines that they made fun of him, which is fair
Did
because
they? I
when
don't remember a single line in that fucking movie where they made fun of Lamar for being gay. As a matter of fact,
well
they
he
fucking
was
had the javelin.
carrying the javelin
Yeah,
that looked
but
like
they
a
made the javelin
fucking bouncing
aerodynamic
kid,
because he fucking threw like whatever.
but
That's funny, but like,
but
that's
he
not
was overtly
racist.
gay. Like he was overtly gay. But
Yeah,
I think the thing is that those stereotypes of back then they happen
yeah.
and that's just the way it is. But those stereotypes don't exist anymore, and I'm okay with that. But I don't need you to also give me a lecture. Like I'm okay with getting rid of the
Oh,
stereotypes.
you
I
don't
don't
like the
care because
lectures, man?
no, no, exactly. Well, that's the thing. Like, I get it. Like, I do believe that some of those movies were offensive to people, and I do
Yeah.
believe that it shaped some people's minds because we were kind of homophobic when we were younger, in the sense that we didn't understand it, and we were just like, ill, like keep that shit away from us, or like we cover our buttholes.
I just don't
But
think anybody really cared. It's just, it is
but
what it
but I
is.
think but I think nowadays, like, those types of stereotypes don't exist anymore, and I'm okay with that. I don't. It's not like I miss them. I don't care. But I also don't need to go to the other extreme where you're lecturing me in every movie and saying like, oh, like the gay community has suffered. Like I get that because I see that in real life, and there's shootings, there's bills that come out and restrict them, and that's fine. I get that in real life, but I don't need that in my entertainment constantly.
I
Like
totally, I totally
if the
miss it.
movie revolves around it, if the movie's a drama movie and it's about a trans character, it's about a
Yeah.
gay character, yes, include all of that because it revolves around the plot of the movie. But if it has nothing to do with the movie, keep it seamless
Yeah. Who
or
cares?
just
Just
don't
write it
mention it at
into
all.
it. You
Just
don't have to
just
focus
put it
on it.
in. If 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 tomorrow they came out with the Blade movie
Yeah.
and Blade was transgender,
Yeah.
but they just mentioned it in passing and then never mentioned it again, and the movie was good,
Yeah.
I wouldn't give a shit
I
that
agree.
Blade was transgender because it has nothing to do with his character, in the sense that it has nothing to do with the plot. It has
Right.
nothing to do with him performing his task. He just happens to be transgender.
Well,
Who
I mean,
cares?
you could just break it down simply by saying like, if you're gonna write a movie where somebody, the character is transgender or any character, like it, just write it into the movie and have them be that. It doesn't need to
Yeah.
be a subplot, and it doesn't have to have exposition or a focus when you're
And
writing
and
it.
and,
Like,
and again, I still I do believe that you can't be unrealistic and say that they're just going to be treated like normal people because they're not right now. But again, you're talking about art, you're talking about entertainment, and you can't have it be preachy and judgy because it's entertainment.
yeah,
And there's some movies that are preachy, and those movies exist within their category, but
like Schindler's
you can't
List.
put that in Transformers, you can't put that in The Matrix, you can't put that in
Yeah.
uh Planet of the Apes because it it's that's not the movie for it. There's
Yo,
other
those Apes
movies that you
movies
can.
though, man, we could fucking those Apes movies. I love those. I love the original Apes movies. I'm a big fan. Those remakes were great. Like,
They were, they
well,
were,
actually, I think
and
didn't you made a video that covered
yeah. Well, I like the Tim Burton one,
yeah, the Tim
which is
Burton
I
one,
like it
which
because
I
it's
like
schlock.
it
I
too.
understand. No, but it is schlock. It's a piece of it's
It's
it's a
Tim
rough
Burton.
movie. It's a
I
rough
mean,
movie.
dude, I
I get it.
revisited Batman Returns recently,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
probably 3 months ago. You know how bad that movie is?
He kills people in the movie. He
Fuck that. Who
fucking
cares?
puts this
The movie
puts dynamite
is
on a guy and drops
fucking
him down a manhole.
the movie is not good, right? Like I remember
Yeah.
liking them. Like Oswald Cobblepot and Danny DeVito was great. I think the Penguin was a cool addition, but like the movie, the structure of the movie, like I remember when it gets down to the point where the Penguins are literally marching into the city with like rocket launchers and shit on their back, like the third act of that movie is a fucking
It's-
circus, and it's
yeah.
it. But to get to that point takes a long time, and that movie drags, dude. Like after watching it again,
I
that
haven't
movie
watched it in a while,
drags.
to be honest.
I
Yeah,
remember
it's been a
turning to my
long
wife
time
and be
since
like, I
I've
used to
seen it.
love that movie. Like I sitting through it again was painful.
Yeah,
It
that's
was.
funny.
Yeah.
There's a couple of memorable scenes, like when he bites that guy's nose. When the penguin bites that guy's nose,
Yeah.
I always thought that was so graphic for a movie that was, not geared towards kids, but kind of geared towards kids. I know
Yeah.
as
It
I
was
remember watching
around
the
that
original
dark.
Batman in the movie
Yeah.
theater.
I mean, dude, it was around the same time like the Ninja Turtles movie came out, the original
Yeah,
one. And like
which
that movie
is
arguably
also
is we'll never get a movie like that ever again. Like that movie
well,
was incredible.
we'll see.
Dude,
I
that new Ninja Turtles looks like crap. Like straight
I saw the
garbage.
newer the cartoon, but that's for
Yeah.
kids. Like
Is it?
straight up for kids. Yeah, it's for kids.
Uh,
It's like a straight up kids. It's a
I'm not a
family
fan
movie,
of Seth
so
Rogen
there's
at
no right.
all. I think Seth Rogen is fucking cringy, and I don't think he's very funny.
I have to agree with you there.
He's
I
not.
praised him for Preacher because he's attached to Preacher,
Yeah.
but then it fell through. Preacher kind of just fell off the map for me, and
I was also a little
yeah.
concerned too when I found out he was voicing Donkey Kong, because Donkey Kong also happens to be my favorite
Oh, how'd you
fucking.
like him as Donkey Kong? Because I heard a lot of people said they hated him as Donkey Kong, and
Well,
Fred Armisen as Grandpa Kong.
Donkey Kong is probably my like he's my go-to character for like every fucking Nintendo game, right? Like
So what'd
cart.
you think of him as the voice?
I thought I was gonna hate him because I just hate him, right? Like I don't
Yeah.
enjoy him. But to be fair, like I actually think he was a pretty good Donkey Kong. The way they
Oh,
made Donkey Kong as a
that's
character kind of like coincides with Mario. Like both Mario and Donkey Kong had similar arcs, if you want to call it that, where they're
father
trying to,
issues
yeah, they have father
or
issues and
family
they're trying to
issues.
prove theirs. Now, here's an interesting fact. I think we discussed it. I'm in a process of still writing out a video for this, but they fucked up the Donkey Kong lineage, right? Where
Oh
Cranky
yeah,
Kong is supposed to be Donkey Kong's grandfather, but in the
he
movie he
should.
was Donkey Kong's father. So like
Yeah,
it was a little weird, yeah. Because
maybe
in
his dad
not
died
to get
in his
too
own.
nerdy, right? But when you look at the 1983 game Donkey Kong, that is technically Cranky Kong. And then you have Donkey Kong Jr., which is technically Donkey Kong's father. And then you
Yeah.
have this Donkey Kong. So technically Donkey Kong Jr. is Cranky Kong in the movie. And
Where
then
are
you
the
have,
mothers at?
huh?
Where
What?
are the mothers at? Like all the mothers, like fucking
Actually in Nintendo
grandma.
64, they talk about her. She died.
Really?
Yeah,
God damn! On a
yeah,
Nintendo 64 game?
yeah,
It's just fucking just like she died.
yeah,
How she
dude.
died? Like died during childbirth, giving
I
birth to
don't
that big
remember exactly
fucking
the
Donkey
Kong
Kong.
family. Like, I don't. I'm trying to remember. Her name was Wrinkly Kong. Um,
Wait, the grandmother or the mother of Donkey Kong?
well, technically that's the mother. Yeah, that's
No, okay.
yeah. Um,
Wrinkly Kong?
yeah.
God damn, man. They treat the women like shit in the fucking Kong family.
And I'm gonna
They're fucking
say
either dead or gone.
she's deceased, and she shows up as a fucking ghost in
Really?
in fucking like one of the Donkey Kong games. I think it might have been for the fucking Nintendo DS or some shit. But yeah, she shows up as like a fucking ghost.
You know what I
But
picture her? Picture
she's
her
Granny
dying.
Kong, right? She's literally the
Oh,
wife of Cranky Kong.
oh,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
So
That's
what they
confusing.
did in the movie, Nintendo literally and DreamWorks and Illumination basically was like, cool, Donkey Kong Jr. never existed. So they took Donkey Kong Jr. and they just erased him from
Oh,
existence. So now the lineage went right from Donkey Kong video game to the Donkey Kong that we see now, making Cranky Kong not Donkey Kong's grandfather, but his dad. Yeah, I
my
know.
fucking head hurts
I
thinking
know, right?
about
And
that.
I can't believe there's people still watching us after fucking going through that, but that's actually a thing, which is fucking
I, I
nuts.
was I was gonna say I picture Donkey Kong's mother dying while giving birth to the Donkey Kong, and she dies like Jennifer Lopez in the movie Jersey Girl, where she screams and she's
Ooh,
like, and then
dude,
just has an aneurysm and
what is
dies.
wrong with that? Is dark. Yeah,
Well, it's all fucking Donkey Kong's fault. It's his fault.
right. And
His
then Donkey
fucking
Kong has to
massive
grow up and
bullshit.
like his dad, like Donkey Kong's dad resents him because he fucking
Yeah,
killed her.
that's why. That's why he's so fucking
Yeah,
angry. He's like,
yeah, dude,
you're a
I
piece of shit.
like it.
My wife died because of you.
Right? That's like some
Yeah.
fucking yeah. He resents him, man. He's like, yo, you fucking killed the only woman I ever loved.
He's probably the one that stole the fucking bananas from him in the Donkey Kong game. Like it was him all along. He's like, I stole that
Well,
shit.
dude,
I was
I
hoping you
have about
died.
zero fucking faith in the new Ninja Turtles. I think Seth Rogen is fucking cringe.
It's a kids movie. Leave it. It's a kids movie. Let it go.
I know,
Kids movie.
I know, but
Let it
I like
go.
the Nintendo adaptation, man. I think the last Nintendo show they did was pretty cool.
The which one?
It had like elements of it was the Nick one, the Nickelodeon.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah, they did it twice actually. I think the one that I like might have been the one that came out around 2010.
How many people are watching us right now?
Um, between all platforms, probably 8.
Oh,
Yeah, around 8.
I want to tell you that I had a wet dream about the female lizard from the Ninja Turtles cartoon. I can't remember her name, but she was the girlfriend of Raphael. Um, shit, I can't remember her name. Anyway, I had a wet dream where like I was like swimming with her and I was like making out with her, and then I woke up and it was a mess.
Are you fucking
And
kidding me?
now 8 people know that I had a wet dream about the lizard girl from Teenage Mutant Ninja
Why the
Turtles.
lizard?
She was cute and she was nice. And she liked Raffi.
I'm trying to
You
fucking
you
remember what
like that
character you're even talking
guy?
about now. It's
I think she likes Raffi because Raffi probably negs her. He's probably like, yo, like you gonna go out wearing that? Like, fuck is wrong with you?
did you fucking hear Donatello's voice in the fucking new trailer?
I did. Who voices him again? I can't remember. I can't
A
remember
fucking
any
a
of
4-year-old girl maybe? It sounds fucking
it, really.
terrible.
Maybe he's trans. Trans
I do.
Donatello.
I don't. It has nothing to do about that. It just the age
No, no,
gap.
I don't.
It feels
I
weird.
genuinely
Like doesn't make
don't.
sense.
That's what it is. It's a movie. Let it go.
No,
You don't want to let it go. Let it go.
no.
It's a kids show.
I
Don't
want
watch it.
I
Do
want
not
Ninja
watch it.
Turtles. If you're gonna remake
You-
something, fucking remake it right.
Yeah, I think they've given up on remaking that for adults, or for now
Yeah.
anyway, because the other ones, the ones by Michael Bay, the
Well, I mean, look at it
not
this way, dude. You're saying it's for kids, but think about the age that we were when we saw the original Ninja Turtles. That was technically for kids.
yeah, yeah, but well, the times have changed. You can't show uh well, I can't remember the original Ninja Turtles to know if there was anything on there that was really, really bad. I don't think there was.
No,
I,
not
I
really.
don't think, yeah. I don't think there was.
What do you mean in terms of like content? Nah, it was pretty
In
clean.
terms of content, like I think the worst that they had was those orphan kids, but it's not like they were doing drugs or anything
No,
like that.
they were
They were just
fucking yeah,
they
they
were
were
just
just
stealing
in a
shit.
gang. They were the
Yeah,
Foot
they were just
Clan.
stealing. Yeah, we all steal.
Yeah, but dude,
We
that
all
movie would never be able to be made today. It was so. I mean, that went to shit too. Let's not forget, like the fucking third one was just awful. Turtles in Time was fucking
Yeah,
terrible.
I wanted to like it more, and I didn't like it
The
because,
animatronics were
or it's
terrible.
not that, yeah,
Once
I
fucking
think they use
Henson wasn't
CGI, right?
involved, they just went to shit.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think maybe they use CGI for the heads on that one, or they use some other different
No,
technology that's the
it
same
was a
as the
different.
first.
They used Jim Henson did the first two, and
Oh, is that what it is?
yeah, and
They
the
didn't do
third
the
one they
third
used not Jim Henson, and
one?
that's why they look fucking terrible.
No.
Do you remember their eyes in the third one? They look fucking like
I
lifeless.
can't remember the movie because I tried to like it. I watched it twice,
Yeah, it's terrible.
and I think I blacked it out,
Yeah,
like it molested or something. I
but
just,
look,
you know,
it's
got it.
fucking it's. We're sitting here talking about how Hollywood is completely incapable of making anything new.
Well, I'm gonna defend them because there's some movies that have been good over the past few years. In fact, Beau is Afraid is a non-Hollywood movie, although that's a tough one to swallow for a lot of people.
Yeah,
The movie, the Ari Aster movie, because that's really a movie that he made for himself. And a lot
I
of people
can't
look
wait
for
to
it.
see that, but like I don't think I'm
Yeah,
gonna see it in the
that's a
movies.
whole. Do not watch that movie in the theater because
No.
see, I can see that movie in the theater as people looking at their phone because it's fucking 3 hours long, and also that's not a movie with action or anything. So if
Yeah.
you get people in the theater that are watching that are going to be bored, they'll start looking at their phone, they'll fuck you up, and then that's it. So that's a movie that you watch in the theater. But Evil Dead Rise, you got to watch. I think that one's a good one to watch in the theater, especially if you have a good Friday night viewing of it where there's a lot of younger kids and they'll get scared or something. I don't
I
know.
usually like to go like the week after it opens. This way, like the hype is out. And but it's like what I miss. To be honest, I miss like the mid. I used to go to midnight showings all the time,
Yeah, those are fun.
and
Those are fun.
there hasn't been a fucking movie that's come out. I mean, obviously Star Wars. I would say the last midnight showing I ever went to was probably The Last Jedi, which is cathartic when you really think about it because The Last Jedi was the last midnight showing I went to, and my wife and I both left that movie theater completely silent. And I turned to her when we got in the car, and I was like, "That movie sucked, right?" And she was like, "I didn't want to say anything." She's like, "I was afraid that maybe you might have liked it," and I'm like, "No, that movie was fucking horrible." And I'm like, "I can't believe we just left a fucking Star Wars where I'm saying that." Like
Yeah,
I was heartbroken. And ever
I
since
would love.
then, I've had this fucking undying passion of hatred towards Lucasfilm and Marvel and all those movies. It's like that was the moment I realized that it was all over.
Now, see, for me, I detach myself from movies after that. Like for me, I was like, okay, like I'm not gonna attach myself to Star Wars anymore in the sense that like if a bad movie comes out, I'm gonna be nonplussed about it. I'm not
Right.
gonna be mad. I'm not gonna say that destroying my childhood. I'm just not
Right.
gonna watch it.
I just try, oh,
And
you're
if they,
destroying my talent.
and then if they make a good movie, I'll go watch it. But I think that's what I became after The Last Jedi. I became nonplussed. Like if they make bad movies, fine. I'm just
Yeah.
not gonna watch them. If they make good movies, I'll go watch them. But I'll
I
probably
became
watch them on
done.
stream.
I look at it
Yeah,
as like
yeah.
there's a certain level of equality that one comes to expect when you're going to see a Lucasfilm Star Wars movie. And when you do that to fans like that, there's a disservice that was intentional. And
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's pretty fucked up.
yeah,
But
it's
I will say they made it up with Rogue One. It seems like it's
yeah.
weird to me because all the offshoot Lucasfilm stuff I
Well,
enjoy.
except for Solo,
Well,
except for Solo,
Solo,
but Solo
I actually I haven't
masterpiece.
seen Solo, so I can't say.
You know, Solo had potential. I would say Solo had a lot of
It was
potential,
a
and
heist movie, right?
it seems like the studio came in and wanted to change so much around and change it their way, and then the movie got fucked. It's a pattern where the studio comes in, they're like, well, you need to include A, B, and C,
Right.
and it fucks up the whole writing process, and then they got to shoehorn in A, B, and C, and then the movies come out awful.
I mean, I
And
guess
it felt like that with what were we talking about?
Ryan Johnson is a fucking terrible director, and I hope he doesn't work ever again. Like the fact that they tried to
He's had
hide
a
the
movie
fact
on the
that
back burner. I don't know if it's still up in the back burner anymore, but they were going to give him more movies to make,
yeah.
more Star Wars movies.
And like, look, man, I'm not saying that J.J. Abrams is king, but like J.J. Abrams delivers. Like, I will look. Super 8 was amazing, and all the projects
Yeah,
the new Star
yes,
Trek he was involved in was amazing. I'll even
it
go as
was
far as
good.
say Cloverfield was amazing. Like 10
Oh, they
Cloverfield
got
Lane
another
was
one coming.
amazing. Like
They've got a direct sequel coming out at some point. They're
I
still working on it.
fucking
It's still
loved
pre-production.
10 Cloverfield Lane, dude. Like
I haven't watched that
on a
yet.
fucking level that is
Oh, it's so
probably
good.
unhealthy. I saw it in the movies and like it was one of those movies where I left like totally surprised because like there's a twist at the end that I'm like, holy shit, like that did not go where I expected it to go. And I like that. It was smart and I enjoyed the movie.
Well, they are coming out with a sequel to the original Cloverfield, so a direct sequel to the original Cloverfield, but I think it's still really early in pre-production, so
Yeah.
no no actors, no nothing like that yet.
But there has, dude, think about all that. Like every once in a while, a movie comes along that kind of like changes and defines like just something new, something fresh. That's all I'm
Yeah.
looking for.
Um,
That's all I need.
I'd say Hereditary was that movie for horror movies.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
say
dog.
Hereditary
There you
was a
go.
turning point
That
for movies where like
fucking told you, man. I knew you were gonna
it
like that
became
shit.
yeah, it was smart. It was smart. It was slow paced. It was methodical.
Yep.
It involved family in such a
Yeah.
way that like
Yeah.
the family was just as tense as the monsters. And
Yeah.
I mean the acting from Toni Collette, like
Oh
when
yeah.
she's in the when I mean the crying when she loses shit, spoilers ahead for
Yeah. Yeah.
Hereditary, but when she loses her daughter and she's crying, I
Yeah.
mean
Put that fucking mic right up to your mouth.
I'm sorry. When she's crying and after she loses her daughter, I mean that crying is like blood curdling.
Yeah.
And then when she's at the dinner table and her son is provoking her, he's like
Yeah.
pushing her. He's trying to get her to, and
Yeah.
you can. Dude, she has this look on her face like she's about ready to explode. Like she's like,
She's
and
incredible, man. She's
it
a really good
just
actress. Did you ever see the Paranormal Activity movies?
I have not watched any of them.
Oh,
Any of
dude!
them.
All right, you got to pop your cherry then, because
I heard,
Star
I heard
Paranormal
there's
Activity 1 was excellent. It's like a found footage movie, sort of. It's brilliant in a way where it was shot, used like inside of a. It was very super low budget. It was super well done. But as you start to go forward into Paranormal Activity movies, they're all kind of connected with the family, and like
yeah, that's what I heard.
yeah,
Except for
and
one.
it's awesome, dude. By the time you get to the third one, like you realize it has similar vibes to Hereditary, not in the way that you think, but more of like the Satanist kind of thing, right? The Satanist vibe. So like it's interesting and when you draw a parallel between the two movies, but that's another one that I would say is like, wow, that within the last 10 years, Paranormal Activity, the first one in particular, second one is kind of third one was okay. The first
I
Paranormal
haven't watched
Activity,
it.
the first Conjuring, Hereditary, all three great movies. But Hereditary took me by complete surprise. Like that,
I mean,
I did
that blew
not.
me away.
And you know what else I enjoyed? Barbarian. I know that people kind of like shit on
I
it a
liked it.
little bit. I think it was pretty fresh. I enjoyed that. And Don't Breathe was
Yes.
another one. Don't Breathe is
Yeah.
excellent. Like those movies were good.
Because you're rooting for the bad guy up until the end, and then you're
Yeah.
just like, okay, he's
But
kind of a
yeah,
bad
he's kind of
guy.
unbelievably
You
bad.
feel you're still almost like there's still a tinge of you where you kind of still kind of rooting for him,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he went over the line. He went over the line.
There's that dude, it's just there's those movies have a certain thing like it's not just tone and execution. It's like there's a certain level of mystery and intrigue to the story that they're trying to tell. And like that's what I think is missing from most mainstream horror anyway. Like I know you're a fan of Terrifier. Terrifier fucking sucks. Right? Like
I
Terrifier's
love Fire.
terrible.
Love it.
Terrible movie.
All I want is for the director slash writer of Terrifier to take over the Friday the 13th franchise because I know
Yeah, I
he can
hope he
take that.
never does that because like
I
fuck
want
that.
him to.
Because
I
the
want
dude's
to.
gonna want to write it, and to be fair, like I think the problem with Terrifier is there's nothing to write. It's just Art the
Well,
Clown
yeah, I
fucking
agree
killing
that
people.
the writing in Terrifier is awful, but for me, that movie is a visual feast. Like I
I mean,
eat
the
that.
the deaths are cool. All right, I'm gonna be super hypercritical, and I know that like you're gonna laugh about it, but like all right, you're gonna make a horror film that is literally like 130 minutes long, right? Like it's fucking long, right? Terrifier 2 is
I don't
long, dude.
remember.
Like
Is
that,
it?
like
I don't
it is
remember.
fucking
It
like
goes by
it's two
fast for
hours
me.
and 20 minutes or some fucking shit. It's
Is
crazy.
it?
It's
It
long
goes
as
by
shit.
fast. I think because of the uncomfortableness of what he's doing to the people in Terrifier
Yeah,
2.
like the scene when he's inside, like when she's buying the glasses or whatever, when he's trying the glasses on when she's in the fucking gift shop or whatever, and like he's fucking with her. Like that scene goes on for
Yeah,
like
I guess
10
some of that you
minutes.
probably could have cut off. I agree. You probably could have cut a lot of that.
Well, it's like the first
Yeah,
Terrifier I felt like was I get it, you know what I mean? And I know that like I think Art the Clown is like originally from some fucking short or something. I don't
yeah. Shit, I can't remember the name either. I'm
fucking
embarrassed,
shit.
but I know, but it is from a short.
Yeah.
It is.
But it's like and again, he's not necessarily I don't think that that director has any fucking talent whatsoever.
I do.
I
I
know that
have
I'm
faith.
shitting on him and I know it
That's
and
okay.
it's like I'm
He's
not
not gonna let
trying to be
that.
divisive, but
But if he
it's
does, I love you, buddy.
yeah.
Damien Sergio or something. I can't remember his name.
Yeah,
But
well, I don't know.
he's great.
And dude,
I
Terrifier 2 did excellent. Like it did
it
really
did.
well.
Look, and the plot for Terrifier 2 is awful. It's full of plot holes. It doesn't make any sense. But for me,
Fucking
it's
that's
the
it. Damien
visuals.
Damien Leone.
Damian Leone. For me, Damian Leone, my friend, I want you to take over the Friday the 13th franchise.
No,
But I
fucking
know that
don't.
nobody.
No.
I because I think you could take that franchise to new heights. I think you could really get gory with that franchise.
I
But he's a master of the practical effects. He is a master of and for me, I love good practical effects. I eat them up.
yeah,
It's
there's
probably why I like Return of the Living Dead.
yeah. Is that the way that
Although the
yeah, Return is the one where fucking what's her name? I can't remember the actress. She's like full bush, right? Like fucking as she's a
yeah,
fucking zombie and shit. It's fucking crazy.
not Michelle Bauer. It's
No, what's her name?
Is it
Begins with a
Linnea
W.
Quigley?
Yeah.
Is it Linnea
Yep.
Quigley?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
good job.
yeah, I mean, and for our 8 viewers, if you haven't watched Return of the Living Dead, it's a more hokey Night of the Living Dead. The zombies in Return of the Living Dead cannot die. Like you could shoot them in the fucking
Amazing.
head and they don't die.
Yeah.
And they run and they can kind of talk. They can open doors. They can climb up ladders. They're scary as fuck, but the movies
It's like
themselves are a
28
little
days
bit
later versus
hokey.
fucking
They're a
Dawn
little
of the Dead.
yeah, they're a little the movies are more comedic, but the zombies themselves are fucking scary.
There was yeah, it was yeah, you're right. It was Leanne Quigley or Lina
Linnea Quigley.
Lynette, yeah, like Quigley.
There's
Yeah,
three actresses from the 80s/90s who used to
yeah,
always
she was
get
one of them.
naked. And
She was when they put out the Into Darkness documentary, it's like she has a pretty big
oh,
part in
she's
it.
in it.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's done a
she's
lot.
in all three of them, I think. But those are pretty good too. And you know, it's like they go through like the history of and going back to Terrifier, it's like I don't know, man. It's like that's a
I know you
pretty
hate
big
it.
IP
It's
for
okay
him
that
to
you hate it.
yeah,
It's
it's a
okay.
pretty big
It's okay
IP to
that you
give
hate it.
him. I feel like they're
I
gonna
know you
milk
wouldn't
they're
want
gonna milk Art the Clown. I mean that he had a $250,000 budget for the fucking second one, and that shit brought in bank. Like
yeah.
they're definitely making another, no
Oh
question.
yeah, he's doing well, but I get it. He's not for everyone. I mean, the amount of uh therapy that the kid is going to need in the second movie
Yeah,
is, I mean, it's just almost to a point where I was thinking in my head when I was watching the movie, it's probably better that if you fucking put a bullet in his head because that kid is probably going to grow up to be a fucking serial killer after the shit that he saw. I don't even want to ruin my favorite scene in the movie, but when I saw it, it was so brutal, it was so graphic that
did you cover that
I
movie
was,
yet or no?
I was no, I haven't.
I guess
I,
it's a tough movie
I
to
don't.
cover.
That's a tough movie to cover. I have to blur out everything. I have to blur out almost everything in the movie. But
Also,
it
like
is
clowns,
for me.
like I don't know, man. Like
Oh, I
fucking
hate clowns.
clowns,
God damn it,
fucking.
I hate clowns.
I'm kind of like I'm over the whole fucking clown thing. Like I think Art the Clown is it's not the time. But apparently I'm wrong. I'm in the fucking minority because that movie did fucking excellent, and like I hate it.
It did do excellent, but it's not for everyone. And I know a lot of people who say that who immediately call it what is it? Not revenge porn. What do they call it? It's some type of like gore porn movie where torture porn.
I
There you go.
guess. I mean,
A lot of people call it
so was
torture porn.
Hostel, but
I
like
disagree with
Hostel
that.
was actually had a story to it.
Yeah, I think Terrifier has a story. It's just awful. It's just absolutely awful.
It's
But the
fucking
movie,
2 hours and 18 minutes.
oh
I'm looking at
God,
it right now.
I re I remember when I first saw the first really horrible kill scene in Terrifier 1. Like, I cringed. I got up on my chair and I cringed, and then I immediately fell in love after that. But the second movie had some scenes, specifically when he's beating the kid. I mean, I guess there's some type of trauma with me involved where I saw that and I felt awful for that kid. That kid is going to need a shit ton of therapy. But his mother gets her fucking face blown off in front of him. So
The actress that was in the first Terrifier, I can't remember her name. Let me
it's
pull
not the
her up.
same actress. It is different
No,
actresses.
yeah,
Uh,
she was okay, I guess. I'll give the credit for the second one was better than the first one. First one was kind of
I get it though.
yeah.
I put myself in your shoes and I can see that it's an awful movie. But for me, it's the gore, the practical effects. Like I just chew them up.
I
That's
mean,
why I
if
like
you were
the
gonna
hack.
fucking tell me, hey man, here's fucking like $30,000, go make a movie to make the first Terrifier, I guess I can say it's okay. But the movie just,
I mean,
I
what
don't
he
know.
did
There's
with
got to
that
be a
money
reason
was
on why
great.
this motherfucker is killing people, right? Not just because he's Art the Clown. Like, I don't know.
Well, and the second one, it's completely convoluted.
Yeah,
He has magical powers because
it's because the
one of the
fucking
women's ends
movie's
up giving
dumb.
birth to his head. I feel bad that I'm kind of spoiling some of the movie, but it doesn't matter because this is a visual movie. Like you have to see it to believe how fucking graphic and gory it is. It's so brutal.
Damn man,
But
I'm thinking of
also,
like,
it's a tough pill to swallow story wise. If you like a story, there's nothing there, or there is something there. It's a pile of shit though.
well, I mean, yeah, it definitely is.
It's a pile of shit. I'll agree with that.
I mean,
I
if we're
have
talking practical effects, I would
problems with
say yes. Like without use of CGI and going completely practical, I think that he's talented. But
that. I'm a bit more forgiving with my slasher slash horrors with plot because
yeah, like I don't
I
like, you
don't
know what I
need it as
mean.
bad,
I
but
wouldn't even
there's
consider that to be a slasher. I know we disagree on that, but like,
consider it to be a slasher, but it is like a dirty slasher, like almost like
yeah,
an underground slasher movie
torture
because
porn.
it is. Don't call it torture porn. It's not torture.
It's for people that just want to go and see people get massacred without having any fucking need of a
Yeah, I
storyline.
guess I'm like that. I do like to see that. It was brutal.
He's like,
I
oh
like the
fuck.
actress in the second one, but I just liked her because she was cute, and that's about it.
Oh yeah,
We're past the hour mark, so I can say that. I
I
know my
think
wife's
Jenna Kennel,
on
I
this.
think Kennel, or I don't know, Kennel, Jenna Kennel. She was the one from the first one.
But look,
Her friend dies almost immediately, but like the one that went pretty much all the end. And I think that she's pretty heavily in the
yeah.
LGBTQ
But if you
community.
want, but look, I mean, you like horror with a standard, and Hereditary is the gold standard of horror movies. In my opinion,
It is
it's the
gold
gold
standard
standard.
because it taps it on miss. It's not just it's not like Halloween kind of like slasher. It's fucking smart, and like I think A24 has that on lock. Now, I will say that a lot of the movies that came out after that, not from Ari Aster, but like from other directors and shit, like Lamb. Lamb was weird, right? But like
Weird.
looking
Very,
back at Lamb, it's not terrible. But people would be like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like people would
it's
be like,
weird
"This is
as
fucking
fuck.
weird, man."
So weird.
I like that weird shit though. Like The Witch is another one. Like I like The
And
Witch.
which is
My
another one.
fucking wife hated The Witch, dude. Hated it.
Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow. Like,
She hated
if
it,
I
man.
watched The Witch 10 years ago, I would have absolutely hated it. In fact, I can see myself turning off The Witch 10 years ago, but I enjoyed it because it was very, it had to be really hard to make that with the original dialogue
Yeah.
and it's telling a story, an original story, or not original story, but
Yeah.
something more realistic of that
That's her
era,
biggest
right?
gripe was the fact that the dialogue was bland. And I'm like, well, it's kind of the time
It's
period
because
too.
it's because of the time period,
Yeah.
and they used specific excerpts, and that dialogue is specific to that time period, so it does feel
I think that
weird.
whoever
Uh,
fucking shot that movie, I gotta look at it, but like Whoever shot that movie, it's atmospheric, moody, and it's insanely well. Like the cinematography on that movie was excellent, and that's the reason why I liked it more so than the story. It's not like
When I watched that, I kept being tense because I kept waiting for something to happen, and even though nothing did happen or nothing crazy happened,
like the
it
absence
still
of happening.
it still was good because it was moody. Like I felt tense during the movie. I was like, what's gonna happen? Is the witch gonna come now, or is are they cursed? Are they gonna be okay? It was
See, it's
pretty
like
good in
I
that
can't
sense,
tell.
but
Like the director of photography is, I think, what made that movie. Like it was directed by Robert Eggers, right? Which is the guy that did the Lighthouse and the Northman.
okay. And I haven't watched that either,
Yo, the
unfortunately, but I
Lighthouse
always
fucking
hear it.
slaps, man. The
It's
Lighthouse is
yeah,
excellent. Yeah, it is really
everybody's
good.
talking a lot
I want to
about
find
that.
out who
Is
the
that
fuck
a
the
drama?
director of
Is that a
photography is.
horror movie as well, or is that I thought that was a drama?
What, the Lighthouse? It is, yeah,
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 it's a drama, right?
yeah.
Okay.
It's a drama. Yeah,
Okay.
drama, mystery, fantasy.
Oh, there's a mystery to it. I didn't
Yeah,
know there
there's a
was.
total mystery to it. It's fucking
Oh,
bizarre, but
I
like
didn't know
it's yeah. And you know what's weird is that's Robert Pattinson, right?
that. Yeah, Robert
The
Pattinson,
Batman.
William Dafoe.
I'm the Batman. Yeah,
So you have Batman and you have the Green Goblin.
yeah. And dude, like it's a beautiful movie. It's fucking
Is it?
weird.
I'll have to watch it then.
It's fucking dude.
I've always hear things about it. I
Get
always hear.
get enhanced for that, and then fucking sit down and watch that fucking movie.
Yeah,
It
I'll have to
is
watch it then.
fucking
I
it
thought it was
is
a straight
nice.
drama. I thought it
Um,
was just a straight drama, like no fantasy, no mystery, no nothing. I thought it was just two people in a lighthouse dealing with each
it
other, and that's
is.
it.
It is.
Oh,
On the
okay. It is.
surface, it is. But like what's going on, like when you realize what's happening, you're like, holy fuck. Like it's actually it's pretty
Right.
brilliant. Yeah.
I'll have to check it out then.
It's amazing.
I got too many. I have so many on my backlog. Oh fuck, man, so many movies on my backlog.
Yeah, I know.
But
Yeah.
you know what? That's this. I have to stop watching reruns. Like I said, I watched Kingsman: The Secret Service
Yeah,
the other
stop
day.
watching fucking reruns, damn it.
I can't help it. They're my comfort food. They're I
The Kingsman's
sometimes I
good, but
just
it's like I watched the
it is,
Kingsman
but
1 and 2 once. Like I don't need to go back to that one.
oh, see, I've seen them more than once
That
because I
fucking church
enjoyed
scene though, that church scene was
That's badass.
amazing.
It's badass.
I
I
agree.
just enjoyed the whole movie, but you're right. I have to stop doing that.
Well,
To
I
stop
mean,
watching
dude, like
movies over and over
I
again.
would definitely say like go down the list of like
Well,
A24 movies.
Hush is the first movie I'm gonna watch where I'm gonna react to it. So I'm gonna set up a camera and I'm gonna watch the movie. I'm gonna have my
Oh,
headphones
you
on,
haven't
and
seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh
So
shit.
this
Okay. All right. Yeah. Hush is
so
awesome.
so that's the first movie that I'm gonna watch
Yeah.
because I wanna react to it, and even though I know you said that it's a fully silent movie, but we'll
Pretty
see what
much.
happens.
Well, I mean, for the most part, like it's because obviously she's deaf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know the premise of it, but I never got beyond that, and I've never seen it. So
In terms of a
we'll
fucking
see it.
Blumhouse movie though, like it surpasses my expectations. I
Oh,
have
really?
I'm a little kind of up in the air on Blumhouse, so like it's it's hit or miss. But like this one's a total fucking total hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, was Mike Flanagan direct that as well, or is it just that his wife is in it?
No, he directs it. Yeah, both
Oh, he
him
directs.
and Kate Siegel or whatever her name is. She wrote it
He's got a
with
really
him.
good track record, except for
The
is
Midnight
it
Club.
Ouija or is it the one with the mirror? What was the one with the mirror?
Which one? Oh, Oculus.
Oculus.
Yeah,
I did not like
that
that
movie
movie.
is bad. But if I'm not mistaken, that was also like fucking produced by like who it was in conjunction with like fucking WWE Entertainment.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
And I tell you, what's her name from Guardians of the Galaxy is in that, and I have a crush on her. I
Fucking
genuinely like her.
Kaylee
But
Russell.
Nebula. No, the girl who plays Nebula, in Guardians of the Galaxy, she's an Oculus. She's the sister, the one who's a complete fucking idiot. And I like her, and yet I still did not like that movie at all.
Yeah,
I
movie was
felt
a
like
piece
there
of
was a
shit.
lot missing from the movie. A lot of it didn't make sense. It was really stupid.
I remember like
But
when
Mike
I watched Midnight Mass and I told you about it, I was like, bro, I
yeah.
cannot fucking believe how good this was. And you were like, oh yeah, I watched that last year. And I'm like, how the fuck did you not tell me to watch this? And you were like, I did. I'm like, you did not. right?
did. I
Like
did.
you watched that fucking shit and didn't say anything, and then like I had gotten to it like a year later, and like you were like, holy, you were like, yeah, it was really fucking good. I was like, dude, that was surprisingly good. That was like
It,
shocking on a level of like Dusk Till Dawn, where like
yeah,
you
because it was
realize that it's like, holy
right
shit, like
on.
I didn't know that it was gonna be a fucking vampire show at all.
Yeah, well, not just that, it was well done. It was slow paced, but
Yeah.
it took great care with the characters. Like all the characters, you either loved them or you really hated them at the end.
Did you see The
Uh,
Haunting of Hill House on Netflix or whatever?
haven't haven't watched any
Oh
of those movies
man,
yet.
dude, stop rewatching these fucking schlock shit, and you need to get in it, dude.
I know.
Watch The Haunting of motherfucking Hill House, dude. That's
Well,
Mike
that one I'll
Flanagan at
watch
his
without
fucking best.
a, well, I'll watch that one without a reaction. I'll watch. In fact,
Well, it's a
maybe I'll watch an
series, so
episode.
like fucking, it's 10 episodes, man.
No, no, it's just that some movies and TV shows I do want to watch them on camera for a reaction, but there's some that I don't want to watch on camera for a reaction. And I think that one's one of the ones that I'd rather watch personally, and because I think those are ones that I'll be quiet more. I'll be
Yeah.
quiet listening and paying attention more.
You also
So I
have to
think
fucking edit the fuck out of it. So if you're gonna put it on Patreon or whatever the fuck you're doing, I would fucking just
no,
throw it
yeah,
up raw. Don't even bother fucking editing it.
yeah, no, for that one, I'll watch that one as a personal one. If I discuss it, it'll just be a personal discussion. But
Oh,
some
fucking
movies I want to watch personally.
side
And
note,
others
you
not.
know I fucking hate Stephen King, right? And
Yeah,
like, yeah, I like trolling him on Twitter, but he was involved with Mike Flanagan to do Doctor Sleep, and that movie fucking did terrible. Like
right. I didn't watch
terribly.
it.
Yeah. I didn't know, nobody did. That's the fucking problem. It's dog shit. So like
'Cause-
it's yeah, and that's what I mean. It's like Mike Flanagan tied to Stephen King, and of course anything that Stephen King does, whatever, man. Everybody loves him because he's a great author, but like any fucking adaptation of anything has been a total fucking failure. There hasn't been a single thing.
Most of them have, yeah. I mean,
Dude, think
I
about it.
watched
He
Silver
wrote and
Bullet.
directed Maximum Overdrive. That
I haven't
movie
seen that movie
is fucking
30 years
awful.
or something to that effect. I don't remember it. I genuinely don't remember
There's
most
nothing to
of it.
fucking remember. Everybody just remembers the trucks and shit. I remember the gym teacher fucking, was it the Coke can or something that fucking came out of the vending machine that hit him in the face
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like
I've
cracked
heard
his
of the
skull?
scenes because I know they're famous, but I haven't ever seen.
Every
I've
chance
never
I
seen
get on
them
Stephen
or even
King's
remember.
Twitter, I fucking tag Stephen King and I'm like, bro, nobody cares because he's like overtly political online. It's fucking
Was it?
crazy, and like I always say, like, yeah, nobody cares. Maximum Overdrive sucked. Like, like fucking you're overrated, and like yeah, I'm
Did he
waiting
really
for him to
respond to
fucking
you?
respond, but he
Okay.
never does. Stephen fucking King.
He may. You never
Stephen
know,
King.
man.
You know who fucking I trolled so hard on TikTok last year. And I actually got a response from him, and I saved it because it was so fucking hilarious. A video response too, which is hilarious because I was trolling him. It was, oh man, his name is oh my fucking god, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank here. Dude's like super fucking political too. Oh my god, I'm drawing a fucking blank. Guy's like from fucking like a D-list celebrity,
Oh,
sports
really?
guy too. But I fucking was
I definitely not
Michael.
gonna know him then.
Fuck, can't remember his name. Damn, he's
I'm
like.
definitely not gonna know him then.
Let me
If
see
he's
if I
a
can look it up.
sports guy.
Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, I ended up trolling him pretty fucking hard, and he responded back to me, and he was a fucking asshole. I flamed him, and he was like, "This is the fucking most exciting moment of your life that I fucking responded to you and shit." Like he was a total dick, and like he immediately fucking deleted his shit after he realized what he had done because like I'm like, yo, I must have caught him at like a moment that he was like not in a good mood.
Yeah,
Yeah. But like, holy
dude.
shit, man. Yeah, he's total douchebag. But like, yeah, I
You
can't
love
remember
trolling people.
I do.
I
Yeah,
can't.
I do. Because you know
I
what?
tried to get. I told
People
you in the
are
beginning.
too tribal and like they can't just
Yeah,
chill.
let him be.
We
I
live in a
guess I
tribal
just.
world, man. I fucking get it. Everybody wants
I
to
guess that's.
surround
I think.
themselves.
I think maybe that's why is because I don't do social media. I don't want to be part of any tribe, and so I just say. But I try, man. I try to get on. I just can't do it. I don't know how you guys read stuff on social media. Like I tried to read some of the
Like
stuff,
you're
and
thinking
then
like it's like some fucking like it all you
it's
gotta do is
boring.
follow people that you
I
fucking
don't know how you guys do it. I mean, I get it because, it's entertaining and I watch shorts sometimes, and some of those Instagram things that you send me are really funny and they're really
Yeah,
clever.
yeah. My
And I don't
algorithm is fucked
personally,
up. What
I'll
I will
become an
say
old
though is
man.
like I guess like social media has this, but like for work for me especially, being an analyst, like when things happen in real time, I want to know about them pretty quickly.
That's
So like
true.
for something like
Yeah,
that, it works out really well. Obviously, I don't use Remux for that, but like I use Remux to troll. But like and that's it's just it's weird, man. People get like really tribal.
just
Like
like it. That's
over
okay. It's
Barbie,
okay to
dude.
like it.
I literally had to report somebody to Twitter for sending me death threats because
Jesus Christ.
because I said that Barbie was going to be a pile of shit. And like they literally were like, "I'll fucking kill you." I'm like, "Holy
That's
shit!" Like,
insane, man.
yeah, people are crazy, man. And that's what I mean. The tribalness is just it's
You
to
like
next level.
poking the bear is what you like doing.
Yeah, but you know what? We live in an
You love
opinionated
it. You know
world.
you do.
Everybody's got opinions, dude, and like
Yeah,
everybody, I
it's
just voice
fine.
mine, and some people just
That's true.
don't like it, and look, man. There's always going to be a difference of opinion, but the fact is, we live in a culture now that we can't freely express ourselves without being resistant and getting death threats and shit. It's fucking weird. And I'm talking about
Yeah,
Barbie. I'm not even online talking about really political and fucking
it's a
and nasty
movie.
shit. Like I'm
Yeah,
just talking movies, and people are
yeah.
getting butthurt over it.
People shouldn't get worked up for movies or games.
It's
Do you
weird,
see how
man.
bad Redfall? I know we don't do video games, but
Yo,
we play
Redfall.
video
Yeah, you
games.
told me
So let
about
me.
that.
But you haven't seen any reviews at all.
Nope.
You haven't seen anything?
Nope.
Wow.
Nope. Nothing.
I can't wait to.
Nothing.
I mean,
But you
just
know what
watch
I will
Digital
say?
Foundry.
You know what I'll say?
Digital Foundry.
I know. You know why? It's a fucking Game Pass game. That's how I know it has a
But
tendency to
it's from
be.
Arcane. It's from Arcane who
Don't matter.
made Prey and Dishonored. Like the main studio Arcane.
But what I
It's
will
from
say is the
them.
guys that made the original Dishonored went on to do Deathloop. So the original
Yeah.
team wasn't there. So the name still exists, but like the developers, they moved
That's,
on. They went to do
I'm
Deathloop, which
disappointed.
also was not that great. But like, yeah, dude, I'm not surprised. Yeah, at all.
I'm disappointed because you know me, I like open world shooters, even though I know I get it too. Like I get that they're really boring for a lot of people. I just happen
Yeah.
to love it. And but this one, I had it on Game Pass. I deleted it.
Oh my
I
god.
didn't even try it because that's how bad the reviews are. They're saying even on Game
Because
Pass,
you know
it's
me.
not worth downloading and trying. And I'm like, when people are like, I'm not talking about one or two reviewers. I'm talking all of them.
Yeah.
All of them have said even on Game Pass is not worth downloading at the moment.
There was
That's bad.
oh, I can't remember. I was just reading. I can't remember if it was a fucking a show or my wife was just talking about it, or if it was a game that now like they're going. Metacritic is now deleting people because it's getting review bombed. It might be this game, and
Well, it's either that or Jedi Survivor because Jedi Survivor got review bombed. And to be fair to Jedi Survivor, their story, I heard the game itself, like the core game, the story, everything
yeah,
is great. The performance is absolutely horrible, especially on
that's a shame.
PC. I heard that the
Yeah, I
performance
go
is
back to
trash.
it, man. It's like the industry hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is it's less abusive in terms of like crunch and everything else. What's
Yeah,
happening is you're getting developers that don't really know or understand or are not as passionate as they say they are making games, and they have just the same timeline, and it sucks. And that's what's happening, and that's why they all come out busted, man.
yeah.
And with
Well,
I'm pretty sure like Metacritic was just saying that like, yo, we are removing, they are actively removing comments that are being put on there for user reviews because people are user bombing. They don't want the public to know how the public really feels about
yeah,
something. But we're reaching a point where Metacritic now is like deleting reviews. That's fucked. Like,
yeah. Well,
Jesus. Like, what
I
can you
mean,
trust?
yeah. And this game is disappointing. As an Xbox owner, it was probably the most disappointing thing that has happened to Xbox in a long time because
Yeah.
think about this. Sony PlayStation, their last game that they released as was an exclusive was God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Nintendo, their next game that they're releasing that's a first party exclusive is Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Mm.
Microsoft's first party exclusive was Redfall. And
Was
you
it
tell
really?
me, yeah. So you got God of War Ragnarok, Tears of the Kingdom, and then Microsoft's big game because they got two big games coming out this year. They have Redfall, which already came out, and
And that,
Starfield,
yeah, Starfield.
which is a Bethesda game.
Yeah,
And
which
their first game that they come out with that's a exclusive is a pile of shit, an
yeah.
absolute pile of shit, and that's upsetting.
They
As
did
a
the same thing. Do you remember
that's
what they
upsetting.
did with Crackdown? Crackdown did the same thing.
Yeah,
Crackdown, the development of Crackdown was
yeah,
so fucking poorly done that they ended up making it a Game Pass game. They just pushed it to Game Pass.
yeah. It's disappointing. It is really disappointing, and as an Xbox owner, it's disappointing because I don't know. I mean, God of War Ragnarok looks amazing. Zelda Tears of Kingdom looks amazing.
You know what I'll say about
Xbox,
fucking God of War, which is hilarious? We have a PS5, right? And PS5 has a fucking um a setting on it, like on not on the on a console, but in the game for PS5. It's called play. It literally just says in God of War when my wife was playing it, it says play in like high FPS mode, and you just it's
yeah,
a toggle. You just hit yes or no, and she hit yes. Who wouldn't want to play in high frame rate,
yeah.
right? So she played through the game. She's probably almost done with the end, and she realizes through some way or another that that setting lowered. Now, mind you, it's an 85-inch TV, and lowered the fucking resolution from 4K to 1080p. And she
Oh
was
my
playing the
God,
whole fucking game in 1080p and didn't realize it,
I didn't
and
notice.
just thought that the
That's
game
how
just didn't look as good as the first one. But it was amazing. She said the game was amazing, but
it's
for
so
whatever
amazing.
reason,
There you go.
PlayStation fucking has that on a lot of games. It's not just God of War, where it says, hey, play at high frame rate. What they don't tell you is that it actually lowers the resolution of the game, making it so that you could play at 120 frames per second.
Yeah. Which is fine because games like Cyberpunk have that, but I mean, Redfall doesn't even have that.
Dude, the
It
fact
is
that
30 frames. It is 30 frames a second
that's
on Xbox
unacceptable, man.
Series X.
Like we,
On Xbox Series X,
that triggers
30
me on a
frames
level.
per
Like we live in a time right now where 4K at 60 should be minimum, and like it should be easily obtainable. And the fact is, developers today do not know how to optimize games correctly, and
It's
it's clear as day.
it
Dude, I
really is.
put fucking Deus Ex on a fucking iPad 2. I don't want to hear fucking shit from anybody. Do you know how fucking difficult that is? Like to
Yeah,
take a property like that and be able to optimize it to the point where you have to fucking put it on a handheld. Like
and it's a big game.
it's fucking huge.
It's an in-depth game where you can beat the entire fucking game without killing a single person.
Yeah, dude. Like
You know any
it
other
was an
games that
amazing
can do that?
feat. And today it's just there's no limit, like the engines. Well, I don't know what the fuck, but I hope to God that Bethesda changes their fucking engine, because that thing was a pile of shit. But like,
Well, the Starfield engine is still the old engine, so it's disconcerting. I don't know what to say except it's
but see, I was arguing that the fact that
PS5, so you're good.
gaming should be having a resurgence because we're coming out of a pandemic and all the
I know.
pandemic kerfuffle's gone. Right now, we should be
Yeah,
flooded with all this
exactly.
great shit, but we're not.
We're not.
I haven't played a fucking
Genesis.
game since. Oh, I still have Metroid. Actually, I got the fucking. I picked up Prime, um, recently, probably within 2 months ago, and I haven't played it
Yeah,
yet. But that's probably what I'm going to play next
and I
because
enjoy it.
there's nothing else
And
that's out there now.
when you go back to it, you'll be like, wow, this game still holds up after all
Yeah.
these years. The level design, everything still holds up.
I don't know if you can say
It's
I
so
have a
funny.
Metroid Dread poster here. Like that's a Dread poster, and like it is by far one of the best Metroid games I've ever played. And like it was incredible. But like yeah, I'm like she plays more games than me. She'll give anything a try. But I'm like that with movies where same thing. It's like I have standards, and if I won't play it. I won't
Yeah.
do
Well,
it.
I would say for Jedi Survivor, it's a game that you can get later in about a year when it's down to $20 and they've ironed out all the bugs, because from what I understand, it's a
Yeah,
great game, really fun. They've improved upon the original, but the technical parts of the game are shit right now, especially on PC.
that sucks,
So
man.
yeah, but for Xbox, if you're an Xbox owner, it's even fucking worse. It's depression city here.
And
I'm genuinely depressed
you,
at the fact that Xbox has no games. But I mean, I have a Nintendo Switch, but
Oh,
I
Nintendo is always the fucking company that never disappoints, man.
that is, but
And
my
like to be
Nintendo
fair,
Switch.
like I look at it and I say like it's I was afraid that Game Pass was going to become a dumping ground for indefinite development of titles that weren't finished. And like I feel like
Yeah,
that's what's happening.
yeah, that's disappointing. I'm still gonna stay with Xbox. I've got
Of course.
200 games for them.
Yeah,
I
what the
have
fuck?
to
Why would you ever
cheap,
switch?
cheap
It's
to
not
just
that. I
yeah,
mean, it's
too cheap to switch.
it's
But
just the state of gaming, just like the state of fucking of Hollywood. It's the same thing.
at least you have Tears of the Kingdom to look forward to. At the very least, Nintendo most of the time won't let you down
I
because they
didn't really
understand
care for Breath of the Wild, but
it's a long fucking game.
it's
Well, you know how
impossible.
I feel about the breaking mechanic.
Yeah, I
I
don't like
hate
weapon
that in
breaking.
any game. In
I don't like
any
it.
game, I hate that.
I hate it.
So
I won't play Dead Island specifically because it has that mechanic. I don't like that mechanic.
I don't like it. Although for Tears of the Kingdom, they have a fuse feature. So now you can fuse like a rock and stone and you can make an axe and it'll be stronger and it lasts longer. You
Nice.
can also fuse weapons that are about to break. So if you have a sword that's about to break and you fuse it with some type of shell or something, it'll give it an entirely new health bar. So that seems fun in the sense that you don't have to constantly look for new weapons, but I still kind of hate the breaking mechanic. I just wish it wasn't there at all.
Holy shit.
But I get it. I get it. They're trying to make something different.
I think once we started talking games, our entire fucking people stopped
Oh,
watching.
really?
Yeah. They were like, oh, fuck this.
Oh, fuck
Yeah, it's
this.
hilarious. But we've been going for a while anyway. We could probably call it a night for
Yeah,
the
we can
stream.
probably call it a night. I
But
guess I don't know how to.
when are you free again? We'll do it again.
Next week again. We could just do it next week.
All right, cool.
I think I'm gonna get some mixed drinks, and I think I'm gonna make some either margaritas or some pina coladas for the next time around because I'm a
That's
bit
actually a pretty
loose
good
with
idea.
talking with some drinks. Yeah, make some pina coladas
Hell yeah.
and we can
Yeah, it's gonna be
discuss.
a
I'll
party
come up with
time.
some. I'll come up with some good topics. I may watch a few. So I'm probably gonna watch the Haunted Mansion or the
Yeah,
Haunted
dude,
House.
you definitely should watch that.
Yeah.
Like, just go
So we
through
can
like,
discuss that next week.
yeah. I mean, that's a lot of
Yep.
episodes to go through, but I guess you don't have to go through all of
Watch
them.
a few. I'll let
Yeah.
you know what I get up to.
Do you still have Netflix or not?
Oh yeah, I have all those streaming. I
Oh,
share
okay.
them between families, so I have them all just because we share between families. They're too stupid to learn all that shit about getting at the, you know, party heart rate. So
No, it's great. But yeah, I would definitely check that one out. And then I guess like for next week we'll see what's gonna happen, but
yeah,
we'll do
I'll
it.
pick up some more news. I'll find what tidbits of news and then we could just discuss movies. We'll try to keep them on movies because it seems like talking about video games was a bad idea, but what
It
can I say?
depends.
I like both.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We could talk about whatever. I mean, like
Yeah,
it
exactly.
seemed like, I think Rumble we had about 7, 8 people watching, and then
That's
as
not
soon as
bad.
we started talking about that, we're down to 3. So like
Like,
fucking
fuck this. They're like, fuck these people
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about video games,
And YouTube, I
nerds.
think we had one viewer, and it's probably my cousin's son watching us. I don't
Yeah.
fucking understand. I don't know what the hell's going on with YouTube, and I feel like we're not
I
being
wish I
pushed.
was able to stream it on my channel, but I gotta research it. It was my fault. I should have did it more than a couple of hours earlier. I should
We'll
have
set
fucking
it
did
up
it
for
a
next
couple of
time.
days earlier. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's
we'll set
exactly
it up for
set it
next
for
time.
next time.
I mean, it's the
But
second
next time,
stream. We're already fucking getting on with it, so it's not bad.
yeah, exactly. I'll have to
But
post this one on my page. I definitely want to post this one on my channel. I
yeah,
gotta
like
figure that out
how
too.
I mean, if you want, I could
There's
send
gotta
it
be a
to. I
way
don't
to
know what the
share it.
easiest way. I mean, sending it
Yeah,
maybe, but it's like we're on 3 hours, so like fucking that shit's gonna be
that's gonna
big
be
as
like
fuck.
5 gigs or some shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah,
huge. Yeah,
big.
I wonder if I
I'll
think what
figure
we
it
could
out.
probably do is yeah we could probably figure out a way to link it, but we'll figure it out.
I'll find out.
Like I said, this is the second stream,
Maybe
so if
I'll
you
just
guys
give
are
you my
watching us, especially
stuff.
on Rumble or whatever, smash that Rumble button. Fucking give us a follow on
Yeah,
Twitter,
yeah. I hope
social
you
media.
enjoyed the conversation. I mean, it's fun to just chit chat. Yeah, it's good.
Yep, I agree.
I can't do it at home, man. I'm either gonna talk to my dog or I'm gonna talk to my wife, who's just gonna constantly roll her eyes at the movies that I watch.
Yeah, I
My
agree.
wife is the opposite of me. My wife does just likes romantic comedies, which is fine. I don't need
It's
to
not
share everything
unusual.
with my wife.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
that's
I
not
like
unusual.
watching a lot of movies alone anyway because then I don't get questions asked while I'm watching the movie, so it
Right.
works out. But she did when I start talking about movies like this, she's like, I don't want to fucking hear it.
I think for next week, well, we'll talk about what we're watching for the week, but I want to do like a segment on like best like practical effects. I think because when we were talking about
Oh yeah,
Terrifier, I
yeah,
think it brought up
yeah.
a really good point about movies that kind of like understand how to do them like
Yeah,
really well
definitely.
over time. But yeah, I guess we'll catch you guys next week,
Yeah.
and that's it for today. Have a good one.
Have a good one, guys. Ugh. Yeah, it was good.